have not, just so you know, Marz, I have not commented or I was no rebuttal on Dub with that. There's no case about Jabbar being the best player ever. I'm so wanting. I was gonna post something. But I'm thinking to myself, I was gonna post something, but I'm thinking to myself, Dub, one of them people. This is the kind of stuff that, like, I gotta see you in the street. Like, we can't do this on wax. No, I gotta see you in the. I gotta come see you, because we definitely need to have a conversation about this. That logic that he had, I will destroy that.
He is no.
I'm not saying that logic was bad. I will destroy that logic. That's all I'm gonna say to you, Marz. I will wreck that logic.
It wasn't my logic. I mean,
I just didn't. I have it. I just didn't post it.
No.
Because I was like, it was so easy. I was just like,
I will destroy, and I won't even bring up Jabbar's accolades or anything like that. I will destroy that logic.
I think Kareem's pretty good for what it's worth.
I agree. I agree with Dub though.
You agree with Dub?
I agree that he does. I don't think Kareem has an argument for the GOAT.
Based on what
we're going to start. Yeah, chat. This is where we're going to start.
If we're including basketball life, like high school, college, pros.
No, but we don't do that. Why? The fact that that's even brought up.
Yeah, if we have to bring out outside the NBA to make this case, it kind of
if it's
but it shouldn't be an if. Nobody doesn't say
if it's high school.
Nobody doesn't say that though.
Let's not even bring that in. What are you basing it on, Lo? How about this one? How about this one idea?
NBA. If I just go NBA. Not mine, but he has a case. Just NBA as
even if that's the case, even if that's true, Tone. Lo, what are you basing this on?
The problem with the NBA community over like the last 3 or 5 years is that everybody has been arguing, the arguments for both for Michael Jordan and LeBron have become so steep of a it's been so ridiculous that if you were to really compare it to anybody else, they don't really have an argument. Right. So does Kareem have a great career? Of course he does. But is it when you start to compare these nuances and all of these miscellaneous metrics that people have made up for why LeBron and Jordan go back and forth, once you start doing that and realizing if you held Kareem to the same standards that we're holding LeBron and MJ to right now, right. He does not have the case at all.
Well, if we're holding Jabbar to that, why doesn't he have a case?
Because for example, people argue the amount of help that LeBron or MJ has to play with to win championships. Right. That argument is out the window with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Are you sure? Are you sure that that's out the window?
Yeah, because the amount of help that he had to win championships was
right.
It's not even on par with LeBron
and if that's true, what happened with that help?
What do you mean?
What happened with that help? Okay, so
I'm not saying that he didn't. What I'm saying is that if the argument is, hey, LeBron needs to win with all of this help, and Michael Jordan needed to win, he couldn't win without Scottie Pippen and Phil Jackson and that triangle, and that's okay. Those are factually true. Right. What I'm saying is, if you didn't put that to Kareem, fair enough, won one championship with an aging Oscar Robertson and the Milwaukee Bucks team that I still think was extremely talented.
Right.
Then he went basically a decade without winning again.
Now
and then didn't win until Magic Johnson came in the league on his team.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then the following year was when Magic was hurt. They couldn't make it out the first round.
Correct.
And then Magic was healthy again, and then they went on to win a championship once more. Okay. So that's proving.
So wouldn't that be the same thing, Lo, with Jordan? How much he needed Scottie Pippen? Scottie Pippen, he didn't win a playoff series without Scottie Pippen.
Both know Scottie Pippen and Magic Johnson are on the same strategy.
I'm not. No. That's not the point.
Every one of these players needed a supporting.
Right. That's the point. Alone. So it's not the fact that these guys individually as players. We're talking about
conversation because he had a great teammate.
No. That's fair. But the quality of supporting cast members, in contrast to LeBron and Jordan, in comparison to Kareem, it's not even close.
So you're saying Kareem's teammates when he won with the Bucks was better than LeBron?
I think if you want to live and die on the argument of that one championship with the Bucks, I guess. But when he went on that drought, without making to the finals, without winning a championship. He had like maybe one or two conference finals appearances. Some years he didn't make the playoffs. The next time he didn't win again isn't until Magic was on.
That's a lot of team. That's a lot of team stuff, right?
Well,
but that's how we assess LeBron in MJ's based off of how
that's why that logic doesn't work. That's why that logic doesn't work because
that's what I said. I led with the way that we compare and contrast LeBron and Jordan's career and how the conversation has quite frankly been for a long time. If we hold Kareem to that same standard, that's what I said. That's what I said.
So with Jabbar, for example, with his, I believe the year that he didn't make the playoffs, right? Like you said, he ended up winning the league MVP. You are aware, Lo, that they were Oklahoma City when he got on that roster. They were at the bottom of the Western Conference. They weren't a bad team. They were in last place in the Western Conference when he got on that Laker team. The next year, they just missed the playoffs, and they had a better record than the Milwaukee Bucks, who actually made the playoffs, but they were in a different division. And that's how that worked. Because if they did it like how today, the Lakers would have made the playoffs. The Bucks finished second. The Bucks finished second in their division, even though they had a worse record than the Lakers. That's why they made the playoffs, and the Lakers did not. Even though the Los Angeles Lakers, I believe it was 10 more games, 2 years after Jabbar gets on that Laker team, which was in last place in the Western Conference, they're in the Western Conference Championship. So essentially what he did was Joker got on Oklahoma City, and he's in the Western Conference Championship 2 years later. So how are we talking about Joker today?
But there's only two scenarios where I see Kareem not having. I don't have enough to go. Not being in the conversation.
The point that I'm making.
Let me answer the question. That's it. Kareem in his at age 28 in his prime should not be leading a team to a losing record. You know that worst team in the league. I know you. If you put LeBron on, put LeBron in his prime, right, on a tanking team, they're still not a losing ball club. The worst team in the league. So we're going to throw James in Sacramento at age 28. They're in the finals. LeBron on a 30-win team, because that's what they were the year before. Right. He's not going to then lead them to just 10 more wins. You know that. I know that. I don't know that, Lo.
I gotta interject right quick.
I'm sorry, Ron. Wasn't he doing that with the Lakers when his first year there?
Hold up, chill. Hold on. Because wait. Hold on, Lo. I'm not ending the argument. I'm just saying that this started centered around Dub. He got you fired up, and he's got you to this point, chill, right?
Correct.
Well, say hello to Dub.
Oh, let's get to it. Absolutely. Let's get to it.
Before Dub.
Hold on. But you can only use Dub's take, which is
no. I can't. No.
Can one person talk at the same time?
I want to ask Chill this. Yeah. Wasn't LeBron on the brink of doing that before he got hurt in the 19 season, where he went on a team that was one of the worst teams in the NBA, had 30-some wins, and he was on pace to lead that team? Was he not doing that?
First and foremost, that Laker team was not close to. They were in 10th place the year before. They were not at the bottom of the Western Conference like that Laker team was on that he got on. That's number one. That team was a lot better. That team was completely reconstructed that Jabbar got on. Now, let's discuss Dub's logic about his logic starts with accolades. The only reason why he's bringing up accolades is because they don't favor his guy. Because if they favor his guy, the first thing Dub would bring up is MVPs. The first thing Dub would bring up is all-league defender. The first thing Dub would bring up is finals MVPs. That's the first thing that he would bring up. That's number one. Number two, the second part of your logic is about the ABA. Okay, so at no point was Doc ever better than Jabbar. Jabbar was the best player in high school. Doc was not. Jabbar was the best player in college multiple years. Doc was not. Jabbar was the best player in the NBA multiple years. Doc was not. And the reason why I bring that up is because Doc was the ABA. Doc wasn't a good player in the ABA. He was the entire league. So at no point, if he was not better than Jabbar, that means that George Gervin, who wasn't better than Doc, he wasn't close to Jabbar. That means that Connie Hawkins, who wasn't better than George Gervin, who wasn't better than Doc, he wasn't close to Jabbar, including Artis Gilmore. He wasn't close to Jabbar. All of these guys were not close to Jabbar. Now, let's get back to the playoff logic. The playoff logic where, and I mentioned this to Lo right before you showed up, the Los Angeles Lakers, when he got on this roster in the 75-76 season, they were at the bottom of the Western Conference. They were Oklahoma City. They had the worst record in the NBA. He takes them the next year to 10 more wins. They would have made the playoffs if the rules were what they are today. The Milwaukee Bucks made the playoffs over them because they were in a different division and they finished higher. Otherwise, the Lakers had a better record than the Milwaukee Bucks, and they would have made the playoffs. Now, the question to you, Dub, is why is he not the best player ever?
Ooh, Dub, that's a tough act to follow.
I would like to say hello, guys. How are you guys doing this evening? It's been I kind of find it funny how everyone's all up in the bunch right now. I do enjoy having the old guys be angry. It's one of my favorite parts of talking about basketball.
Who's angry?
So first of all, to address what you was talking about, the ABA and everything like that, I addressed that point when talking about the MVPs. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, LeBron James better than Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Stephen Curry in a lot of people's eyes, but those guys still won MVPs on his watch. That's why I was addressing the ABA part. It wasn't the fact that those guys were close to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It was just to highlight the fact on how he benefited from not having to play with that type of competition in order for him to win an MVP.
Keep going, dog.
He did I said a lot. You guys said a lot.
You say something wrong, I got to correct you.
Keep going, dog. I'm listening. Keep going, dog.
There was a few times, but there's a few years that worked for Kareem in his favor. Then another thing you addressed, if my guy had this, if my guy had this, if Marz talked to me more times than you, and he would sit here and tell you, I do not run the MVPs. I do not run the All-NBAs. I do not run to any of that. I talk about their game and how they played basketball. I don't say MVPs. I don't say chips. So that's another thing that you said that just is not even relevant to the situation which we're talking about, because that's not how I talk about. The context of saying that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar does not have a GOAT conversation because, and Lo was saying this before, he said Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a guy where in 1975, I believe, he won 38 games in the Milwaukee Bucks. Then the following year, he switches teams, and you say he had a better record? Give me a break. He had a better record by 2 fucking wins, bro. Let's be real with that. He went from 38 to 40
on the worst team in the NBA.
But
worst team in the NBA. Don't leave that part out.
Cool.
But why were they the worst team?
The point of my argument is the fact that if a guy like LeBron James, if a guy like Michael Jordan, if those guys miss the playoffs on 2 different teams, the type of scrutiny that those 2 guys would be a part of will be unheard of. Because at the end of the day, you would say this, Chilltown. You guys would say this. You're the one. You have a case to be the best player in the NBA basketball world, and you're missing the playoffs in back-to-back seasons. That's not the same level of impact that you guys talking about. Then let's clarify one more thing about the competition he was going up against. Think about it like this. Out of all the guys in the top 12, top 13 realm in the NBA community, LeBron James was battling against Kobe Bryant, Stephen Curry, Michael Jordan against Hakeem Olajuwon, and Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, for the majority of his prime, and guys in that top 10, the top 12 to top 13 range, he was dominating all alone. There was nobody he was going up against. Bill Russell was challenging each other. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson challenging each other. Kobe Bryant challenging LeBron James. KD, Stephen Curry challenging LeBron James. Kareem was solo. He had Dr. J, which was great. I do think Kareem was better than him. He was dominating solo. And on top of that, last point.
Keep going, Dub.
You talk about the reason why I brought up the MVPs because of player voting. He won every year before 1980. It was 1980 before. He won all those MVPs. All of his MVPs came from player voting. And all I said was, if a lot of these guys in the NBA history had the benefit of having players vote for them, they would easily have way more MVPs than they did.
So you're saying players don't know how to vote for an MVP?
That's not what.
No, he's not. That's not what he's saying. Hold on for a second. So, Dub. So let's get back. So let's get back.
He's saying Kareem benefited from player votes that players like LeBron and MJ didn't. That's what he's saying.
I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Hold on. I'm not going to bore you with stats. I'm not going to bore you with stats. But if you go back and check out Kareem's stats, he deserved every single one of those MVPs. That's not even negotiable. I don't care if it was the players, the coaches.
I'm not saying he didn't. That's not what I'm saying.
I don't care if it was Martians voting. He won those MVPs you're saying you're not saying it, but you're saying, oh, it's because the players voted. Right,
that's
correct.
That's not what he's saying.
What is he saying?
He's saying we are all aware. We are all aware of the phenomenon of voter fatigue, which has only been a thing since the media has really been voting. That's a thing that guys like
also don't forget media votes based on who they like and who talks to them. So it's not really the best who deserves it. Go ahead.
So with things like that, Michael Jordan, even Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, LeBron James, like they have to go against the fact that the media isn't going to give them as many MVPs as the players, for example.
That's correct.
Gave Kareem. They gave Kareem 6 MVPs. Not saying he didn't deserve all of the MVPs.
But when you say give, you imply that
they believe he was the MVP.
Because you're doing semantics. He earned the MVP.
Hold on, Marz, keep going. You're making a good point, Marz. Keep going.
The players believe that Kareem was the MVP 6 times. Rightfully or wrongfully, that's not the point Dub was making.
Right.
The point Dub was making, if players like LeBron also had the benefit of player voting, he would more than likely have more than 4 MVPs to his name. And when we talk about the GOAT debate, well, not we, but when a lot of people talk about the GOAT debate, with Kareem in particular, they talk about the 6 MVPs. And that is something that he had a benefit of a different voting system, which gets him more MVPs than everyone in history. And that was
that's fair, Marz. Now, with that being said, Dub, let's make sure that we're clear. You're going off the fact that Jabbar, with him winning those league MVPs and deserving those league MVPs, the years that we live now in James, that there are guys here who completely respect James. There's plenty of guys in the NBA who can't stand James, just like the media. So if you are under the impression that if James, as good as he's playing, Kevin Durant, as good as he's playing, as good as Kobe Bryant was playing, how many guys would have actually voted for him to be MVP if the players had a vote at that time? I am 100% confident.
There are studies and polls that have been done by players, and you know who would have benefited the most? It's not LeBron James, it's Kobe Bryant. Kobe would have won more, but James would not have won more. Go look at the poll.
What's the proof?
Hold up. I got them right here. I got him right here. You talking about Kobe Bryant and everything. LeBron James was dominating at a time where Kobe Bryant was absent. You guys say he wasn't respecting the league, but shit, a lot of people he went up against say he's one of the best players of all time. Draymond Green saying he's the greatest player of all time. Stephen Curry, he gets a lot of love. Let's not act like he don't. So you tell about a time in the 2010s mainly where he'll win most of his MVPs with nobody else in the league. He's definitely going to win a good handful of that. You're not going to sit here and say no. You're not going to act as if he's not respected and not loved in the league.
You always do, though. You're creating a hypothetical situation to try to prove your point.
We're all creating a hypothetical situation.
I don't know. You're MVPs by saying, well, if players voted, these other guys.
That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing.
No, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that.
I think what we're doing is understanding.
Can I clarify what I'm doing?
I need everybody to calm down. Hold on, Dub, right quick. Hold on, Dub. Before you go, I need to hear Ticket's thoughts on the matter. Kareem being the GOAT.
Does he have a case? Let's be clear, because I don't think anyone has him as the GOAT, but does he have a case? Can a case be made?
Yeah, Mike, Kareem, Kobe, in that order.
And the reason why you feel that way, Ticket, is because
Mike, the accolades, along with 6 NBA championships, never went to a game 7, 6 finals MVPs,
accolades.
Kareem behind him because of the accolades, along with his dominance in the championships, finals MVPs, regular season MVPs.
Sure.
And then Kobe being Bryant because he didn't get enough credit for the first three-peat, but then he went to 3 more finals after that and won 2 of those. So to me, he solidified his value in the first 3 championships. And again, we got to remember that Kobe was robbed of the latter part of his career because of the injury. So we didn't really get his last 3 years he was losing, but it wasn't like he was 100% out there and getting beat at 100%. So
he wasn't the same after he tore that Achilles. He wasn't the same. He was not. He wasn't. As good as Bryant was after he tore his Achilles, he wasn't the same. No, he wasn't.
Why he's in the conversation? Okay, here's why he's in the conversation. Because he played for 20 fucking years, 25, 11, 4, and 4. He put up the numbers. He also did it on the defensive end, leading the league in blocks, being an 11-time All-NBA or All-NBA defensive player. I want to stay away from accolades, but that alone, if you only use what you
stay away from accolades, we can't do that, man. Because what we're doing is, I hate that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I thought I was supposed to hear.
Let me talk now. So if I'm saying, because these guys don't want to use the accolades, because when you put the accolades in it, it's a no-brainer. He's in the conversation. Again, not mine, but he's in the conversation. But just statistically, what he did offensively and defensively, how he had a shot that no one can freaking stop. Like, there's so much to say why, even if you don't include championships and accolades, he's in the conversation, that once you do, because you have to include accolades, that's why they freaking exist, he's in the conversation, and anything else is ridiculous.
So can I clarify the points? And the question that was asking me before, you're saying I'm knocking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from winning MVPs. That's not what I'm doing. All I'm doing is providing the details and the context on why things happened and why he won MVPs and why he did this and why he did that. Because at the end of the day, details matter and context matters, and why people do things and why things lead to people achieving accolades, why people things lead to them being successful matters. I'm not going to sit here and say that just because this guy won 6 MVPs that he's this far above somebody else. I think Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon has a good case of being better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Has nothing to do with accolades, has everything to do with their game and what they bring to the game.
And what did they produce, Doug?
What did they produce, Doug? Let me tell you what they produced. They produced a nice and long career. We're talking about above 12 to 13 years in their career. If you want to say Kareem's better than them due to longevity, I can understand that. But these guys at their best, you got Shaq, one of the most dominant players in NBA history, a great scorer in his own right, and definitely a defensive presence as well.
Never led the league in rebound at one time. Never led the league in blocks one time. Never led the league in rebounds one time. Never led the league in blocks one time.
That doesn't knock him as a
That's exactly what it does. Because as a big guy,
knock him as a player. How does that knock him as a player? Are you serious right now?
Because as a big guy, what exactly is your job as a big guy?
So if you don't lead the league in blocks, you're not that great of a defender.
Olajuwon did it. Olajuwon did it.
Because Olajuwon's one of the best.
Olajuwon did it.
Yeah, Hakeem's a better defender than Shaq.
Hakeem is a better defender than Shaq.
Aliza is what? Olajuwon is what?
He's a better defender
than Shaq.
Right, exactly, absoltely.
What does that have to do with
He's a better defender than Kareem as well.
And the production proves it. And the numbers prove it.
No one was arguing that Hakeem's
That's exactly what you're arguing.
The fact that arguing that Shaq is a better player than Kareem.
The fact that you are leaving what I produced off the table, and you are leaving out what I didn't produce. That matters, Dub. That absolutely matters.
But leading the league doesn't mean you weren't producing. Shaq was still an elite all-time great rebounder. He just wasn't. He didn't lead the league.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Marz. Because
like David Robinson was a great rebounder. Dennis Rodman was just a better rebounder than him. That doesn't make him any less.
And with that also being said, David Robinson did lead the league in rebounding.
No, he was just an example of a player I brought up.
And just like Shaq never led the league in rebounding, never led the league in blocks. Jabbar did, which makes him better. He did it longer.
Again,
yes, it does.
This proves my points again.
Yes, it does.
Just because you have a stat that's you led the league in shot blocking, great, amazing. So Rudy Gobert, right? Rudy Gobert. Where do you rank Rudy Gobert? Because he led the league in a lot. Where do you rank him all time? What do you rank him all time?
We don't have nothing to do with all time.
Answer the question. Where do you rank him all time? He led the league in rebounds. He led the league in blocks. Where do you rank him all time? You want to clarify for him, right?
He a better. Yes, yeah, absolutely. He a better rebounder. Yes, sir. He a better rebounder. Yes, sir. Yes, I can. Here's why, dog. Because he's a better rebounder and he's a better rim protector and he's a better shot blocker and a better defensive player than Shaq. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking
about. By that logic, I guess Larry Bird ain't one of the greatest scorers because he ain't never led the league in scoring.
That's a fact. He ain't lead the league in scoring.
He wasn't the best though.
He
not a top 5, top 7 scorer all time because he never led the league in scoring.
I didn't say that. I did not say that.
But by your logic,
by my logic, Jabbar was better than Shaq.
If you're comparing Bird to Jordan, you're going to say Jordan's the better scorer, right?
And why is he the better scorer, Tone?
Because you led the league.
If your argument for why, if you have to use MJ's a better scorer and you have to use 10 scoring titles to make the argument,
that's a bad argument.
I think it's so much easier to make the argument.
There's so many other quality ways to make the argument.
Why do you guys not care about production? Why?
Because
we can care about production.
Why do you guys not care? All you care about is what it looks like. That's what you guys all talk about. What it looks like. You guys never talk about what these guys produce.
No. So Shaq isn't the most aesthetically pleasing player, but he's not.
So if for example, like Kevin Durant, I don't know when last time KD's led the league in scoring. So because he hasn't led the league in scoring, he hasn't been the best scorer in the NBA for the past how many years?
So he's the best scorer because he didn't lead the league in scoring. That's your logic.
No, my logic is that he can produce just 1 point fewer,
but he didn't.
More efficiency.
When did he produce 1 point fewer?
No, I think the logic is made clear when if you try to imply that Allen Iverson was ever a better scorer than Kobe Bryant because he had 4 scoring titles to Kobe's 2, you would be crazy. That would be a ridiculous take to say.
No, OG, is he? Was Iverson a better scorer than Kobe?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, then so their logic is out the window.
If your
argument is that Durant has not been the best scorer in the NBA,
why are we talking about Durant? Let's get back. We're talking
about leading the league in a statistical category.
Wait, we got one. I
want to get back to Dub's point.
Because it goes back.
Because that's what we're doing. We're changing it.
We're not changing the goalpost.
Everybody.
We're just applying the same logic to everybody.
So let me ask Dub a question. So because this is what I don't understand.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Your issue with
Kareem. Low. I'm muted you. Hold on.
Wait, just quickly, Marz. What you just said is the fact. It's because we're holding Kareem to a different standard, and the only way that you can put him in this conversation is if you continue to hold him to a different standard. That's the reason why. Because you don't hold everybody else in NBA history to the same standard. You just sat there and said a player who had more which caused more scoring titles is not better than somebody else, even though they played in the same era. So that means when it comes to somebody else, you can identify that. So that means that you're holding Kareem to a totally different standard than you're holding anybody else. That's why it matters.
No, I'm not. I'm not
talking about you.
Okay, I'm holding Kareem the same standard as everybody else. And when I look at everybody else, I look at everything.
He's not talking about you, Fluent. He's talking about Marz and Dubs got to show they got to these two guys got to show their ID before they come into basketball talks because they're too young to talk about stuff like this. So when you're talking about greats like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and these guys, you have to really understand the history of the game of basketball. Because if you say what Dub said and what Marz say to any real professional basketball player, they'll laugh in these guys' face and ask why they talking basketball.
What have I said?
Nothing.
Right?
What have I said?
Nobody has.
I'm just being very honest about that. Anybody that says Kareem Abdul.
Wait, I'm here from Ticket.
Anybody that says Kareem is a fraud doesn't know basketball. Anybody that questions Kareem's career when Kareem was the greatest player to ever play the game of college basketball and came in the NBA, just demolishing anything in his sight, that you just don't know basketball. I mean, listen, you can go ask all the guys he played against. You can go ask all the guys from when Kareem came, when he went to college to all the way when he retired in the NBA. You can ask any guy he ever played against about Kareem, and nobody, and I mean no NBA player that he ever played against would say he was a fraud or question anything about his game. Anything. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm listening, Dub. Go ahead, Dub. I'm listening.
Dominant on both sides of the court. The dude was dominant on both sides of the court, and you're trying to trivialize either his accolades or other people that did, and without just saying, look, how great was this guy? He dominated on both sides of the court. He went to 10 NBA finals, won 6, was a 6-time MVP, a 2-time finals MVP, was 1 game away from his 3rd finals MVP. Let's be honest, he was the MVP of that finals in 80.
You're talking to Dub, a guy who praises KD, who's last place in the NBA in defense right now. He's the worst defender in the NBA, and this guy praises a guy like KD. These dudes constantly, they constantly. This would irks me about cats that come on this channel, on this panel. They constantly degrade and disrespect the old school basketball, and I hate that. I despise that. I despise the fact that we praise these younger guys who have more technology of that, who have the 3-point line for majority of their career. Like, let's look at Kareem. Kareem didn't even play with the 3-point line. And look where he got the scoring record. It's taking LeBron all his time just to get to catch that. And this dude didn't have a 3-point line. And so, no, you're not hearing me. Hold on, Lo. The 3-point line, hold on. The 3-point line is prevalent. When you score as many points as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has without a three-point line. That is pivotal. Hold on. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because with all of the hybrids, hold on. Let me ask y'all a question. With all of the hybrid big men they have in this day right now, with all the hybrid big men. Now let me ask y'all a question. How many years in the league did Shaq play? How many years in the league did Shaq play at a high level? Right?
I don't know.
And Shaq didn't have a three-point line. Shaq didn't use a three-point line. And look how many points Shaq was behind Kareem, and he wouldn't even have caught Kareem. Now watch this. Look at the hybrid big men nowadays that are able to use a three-point line. Cat, all the big dudes in the league right now. Jokic, all these guys. If you take all their threes away and compare them to Kareem, they would never have a chance of catching this guy. Ever.
We're not talking about
No, I ain't saying. I'm talking about any player that he wants to talk about from this era. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we have to respect the OGs in the game because they played under. Hold on, they played under a different set of rules, and most of them from the era he's talking about right now didn't use or have the 3-point line. So when you're talking about that aspect of the game, and you're talking about a guy who scored damn near 40,000 points without the three, and we're talking about a guy named LeBron James, and he's got that's getting ready to pass him, that's had the three his whole career, bro. You have to respect that. That's the one reason why I say I respect LeBron James for being able to catch that record. Because like Magic said yesterday, Kareem never thought anybody would catch that record.
Can you tell me when you see the historic?
Hold on, Tom. Go ahead, Dub. I'm listening.
He went on his whole little crazy.
Go ahead, Dub. We listening to you, Dub. We listening to you, Dub.
You want to know why he was putting up that many points for his whole entire career? Because they played at an all-time historic pace, and pace is the true difference.
You mean what they're doing now? The same as what they're doing now.
It's not the same. It's still levels higher than what they do today, bro. In the 70s, it's still historic levels, and that's why he scored all of those points. Let's not say, wait, Ticket, you were talking all that nonsense. Because let's not say that just because he put up all those points without a 3-point line. No. Let's not say that just because. Hold up, fellas. Let's not say that just because he did all of that without a 3-point line. We're going to hold it to a high standard. No, bro, he did have historic pace, and he got more shots up than a lot of other people, bro. And those are just the facts. And this is why I said, you said, we're too young. You said that we're too young. We really can't look at the game like that. Let me tell you something about Ticket. If anybody's obligated to talk about stuff like this, it's people in our generation. Because we have things because we can look back, we can watch the tape.
You never saw it.
Yeah, Fluent.
Ticket was born in 1982. He never saw Prime Kareem either. Don't let him trick you.
First of all, Marz, you were born Marz. English boy.
You never saw Prime Kareem. He saw washed up.
Look, English boy. You were born in 2010. Pull your.
Hold on. I had to mute everybody low. You're still screaming. Everybody's just screaming over each other. Yo, let's have a civilized
Let me tell you something, little boy. You pull your pants up. You were born in 2000.
We're not doing this. No, Ticket. We're not doing that.
You shouldn't even be in a panel. You lucky your ass got a pass.
No, Ticket. We ain't doing that. No, Ticket. We're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. No.
I just had to remove everybody.
No, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that.
This is finna turn into the Fluent and Chill show.
No, we're not doing that. Get Dub back. Get Dub back. I want to hear Dub.
I didn't see them play. I saw them play, but the thing you guys don't understand, like when people say, when Dub says like my generation should talk about,
I just want to talk to Dub. That's what I want to talk to.
I haven't said much. Like that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard is that you don't get a full understanding or appreciation if you haven't seen it live, if you didn't live through it. There is a difference. There's a different understanding. Just like, hey, I already proved Marz wrong with the whole Magic thing because there was a difference of philosophy and thinking when you live through it. Yes, you can go back and watch clips. Yes, you can go back and watch games, but you always like to put context on it. There is some context you're missing because you're still biased without knowing it or not because you're comparing it to today, right? When I talk to people about handle, hold on. You might not do it. It might be subconscious because you're thinking of it today. So when we talk about players with like handle, I always tell people you miss the context, the fact that they couldn't dribble on the side of the ball. There's certain things that you just miss because you're not looking for that. You don't know to look for that. So Dub, even when you say I go back and watch games, that's cool. But you've said to me, I don't count anything before 1970. Well, the fact that you say that tells me that there's an underlying bias there that doesn't let you see the truth. That's
hold on 1 second, Fluent. Hold on 1 second. Hey, you say y'all got this show. Hey, Ron, you say y'all got this show coming up. You put me one-on-one against Marz, and I promise you this little punk ass boy won't come talk basketball ever again. You put me one-on-one again, I will strip his ass down till he nuked on his damn channel. I promise you, I will wear his little punk ass out. You put me on with him on Thanksgiving, and I'll take your little 15-year-old ass, and I'll put my foot on the crack of your ass, boy. I will put my foot.
You won't put your foot nowhere. Get your
okay, Marz, you got to get removed too, just because you're in that. All right, y'all. We about to move on. We're about to get off Kareem. Ticket just alluded to something major that's coming up in March. You guys.
No, you the one started this, Lo. I just want to put that out there. Yes, you did, Lo. We were having Lo. You and I, Lo, was having.
No, I'm dead serious. Hey, you put me up against him on that Thanksgiving. You put me up against him on Thanksgiving, and I promise you, that boy will never come around and talk basketball again. I promise you that. I promise you. And Dub, if you want smoke too, Dub, I'll give it to you too. I'll kick both of y'all ass on the same night. I will kick both of y'all ass on the same night. I will kick both of y'all ass on the same night. However y'all want to get it. However you two want to get it, we can get it. I can get it however you want to get it. Because you two boys can't live in my world, boy. You can't live in my world. And Marz.
All right. I just want to say two things. Hey, what Dub is saying is that, and I agree, he shouldn't have said that we're the only people who should be talking about it. But the truth of the matter is, like, most of Kareem's career, nobody really watched it, if we're being honest with ourselves. Unless you're like 80-something, like you really didn't watch Kareem's career.
I caught Jabbar on the other side of his career. I did. I caught Jabbar on the other. I caught Jabbar when KG got to Boston. That's when I caught Jabbar.
If we're being honest with ourselves,
on the second half. But my point was, I also got to see and got to hear about who Jabbar was close to.
Hey, Marz, don't duck that smoke. Hey, don't put me out, Ron. Marz. Hey, hold on, Marz. Don't duck that smoke, boy. Don't bring no notes. Don't bring no notes. Just bring don't bring no notes. Just bring your ass, and I'm gonna stump on your ass on Thanksgiving. When he got that show, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna punish your little ass because you a fraud. You come in here and you read off your little tablet, your little notes, and you think you know basketball. You can't live in my world, Marz. I will crush your little ass, and then I will hand you a cup of tea, lad.
Right. Hold on, everybody relax.
Okay,
Ron, real quick, Ron. Can we get back to Lowe's point? Low, as you were saying.
Where you standing?
Wait. When were you born?
Hold up.
Your damn business.
Before we do anything.
But it was in the 70s.
Okay.
I have to.
I'm as old as your OG unk over there.
Okay, all right, OG. When were you born?
Yo, Lo,
I was born. Go ahead,
Ron. Go ahead, Ron.
Because I must announce, since the cat's out the bag and Ticket announced it, we have a Thanksgiving throwdown coming up, and it will be all of your favorite panelists battling against each other. The matchups are to be determined yet, but Marz, are you ducking Ticket? Are you scared about a Ticket that day?
No, Ron, don't even.
Ron scared.
Wait, I'm asking.
He let a 15-year-old hurt his feelings. Apparently.
Well, hey, I guess it's to be determined whether Marz will accept Ticket's challenge, but hey,
I would like to get back to Dub's point because Dub was making a point before we completely got thrown off the track. I don't know what happened.
The only thing I just want to say is that
can we get back to Dub's point?
The only thing I was just saying is that it just bothers me when like people sit like, for example, like I was born in '93, right?
Right.
But I would be lying if I would be able to properly articulate Chris Webber's career. Right. I watched Chris Webber, right? Mm-hmm. But I was 7 years old when he was like when they were dominating in the early 2000s. Right. So even if you were born in the 70s and when Kareem was taking off with the Lakers, you were 7 years old when that was happening. I'm just being completely honest. You still didn't really watch him. Like you may have watched him, but you're not old enough to thoroughly understand what was happening. My understanding of basketball from 7, 8, 12, 15 to right now is so drastically different that even I alter my perception of people that I actually watched because my perception at the time was very naive. And the second thing is it just is bothersome. And don't get me wrong, they definitely had disadvantages, but there were so many clear advantages that players in the 70s, 80s, and before whenever had that players in today's league do not have. Kareem is playing in the league where you can sit underneath the paint as long as you want to in the era where they do not properly floor space. In today's game, there will never be a player that's going to give you 4 or 5 blocks a game. That will never happen. Not because they can't do it, not because it's not a player as tall as him, but because the whole game has drastically changed.
Guys don't go to the rim nearly as much as they did back then.
That's all I'm saying. There's things that yes, they were at a disadvantage of, but there's also benefits they received as well.
Right.
So you play in a league where the league is split in talent, when there's an ABA, when you play in a league where, like it or not, they were doing crack. So David Thompson and them were in and out of the league as well. When you play in a league where you have a bunch of players going from trying to merge together with the ABA, and then players getting dealt underneath the table and all that stuff, so the league is not as structured as it needs to be. Bill Walton is hurt. Bob McAdoo's hurt. Like, there's a bunch of things that are occurring in the 70s that, if we're being honest with ourselves, did not consistently happen to
You're
the
acting
level.
like that stuff doesn't have in different ways isn't happening today.
I'm not Fluent. No, because you're not hearing my point. You're just listening. You're not listening to what I'm saying.
I heard your point.
There are advantages and disadvantages. And all we're saying is identify the advantage. So when somebody says it, it doesn't immediately need to follow up with, "Oh, well, what about today?" No. Today's
I understand that. I do understand that. To your point. I want to get back to Dub's point. That's where I want to get to. I want to get to Dub's
advantages and disadvantages, which is why each player has their advantages and disadvantages, which is why you have to judge them for what they did when they did it. To your point, however, you couldn't fully grasp Chris Webber's dominance in the 2000s because you were 7.
Yes.
So with all due respect, you're asking me, who was 7, watching Kareem and then watched him I didn't stop watching basketball. I looked back and watched it, to take someone who, and I'm not picking on Marz, but Marz. So if we're using your logic, Marz has only known basketball for 5 years. How is he going to know what happened 60 years ago better than me?
I'm going to answer, because if you were 7 at the time when Kareem was playing, if you missed that game, you missed it. There's no way you could ever have gone back to it, because at that time, the level of like readily available basketball games, they didn't exist. So once you missed it, it was
incorrect
done.
Because we taped it on VHS and watched it later.
So you had stockpiles of VHS.
Yep.
And you were watching them as readily as available as people can watch it right now.
No, you got to remember too. Lo, here's what the other thing. But go ahead. I'm listening, Dub. What you got, Dub?
And that's fine. But I'm just saying, the reason why I say Marz is because I'm not even saying like Marz in particular, but there's and even if you are Fluent, you are the exception. Like there weren't. I
agree. I am. But that's my point. Is again, but for Dub to say he's a fraud 60 years after the fact, when he didn't.
Fraud is crazy. Fraud is crazy.
When he didn't even have that ability to see it back then and understand the concept. For him to say, well, us guys today are the ones who should be talking about it.
Yeah,
no, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't.
No. I was addressing a point with Ticket. Right? Okay. And he said that we shouldn't be talking about it. What I was gonna say is that when me and Marz, guys who grew up in this generation, we have so much access to actually research and learn about the history of the game. Right. We don't just sit here and talk about some nonsense. Everything that I said, everything that I spoke about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was an exact fact. So I did the due diligence of understanding and researching about what exactly happened and transpired. That's why I'm saying.
Did you go to university, Dub?
Fluent. Don't interrupt me while I'm talking.
Hold on, Tone. Keep going, Dub. Keep going.
Don't interrupt me when I'm talking. Don't interrupt me when I'm talking.
Keep going, Dub. Listen.
So what I'm saying is, for guys like us, especially if Marz, I know Marz does his homework. Right. He does his homework more than a lot of people. Right. So he could talk about things like this. As long as you're informed about it, you have a freedom to talk about it. When I'm talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, when I say he's a fraud, I say it in the context of, I don't think it's undeniably he's a top 3 guy. I don't think it's undeniably that he's the greatest center of all time, because I think there's a lot of guys that have a good case to overtake him. And what I see, especially in the NBA community, that they're so easily persuaded to the fact he's automatically a lock for top 3. Right. He's automatically has a case to be a GOAT conversation. And all I said was, I don't think that's the case. And then I bring up some of the advantages that he had, putting in some context on what led to his success. And you guys think I'm calling this guy trash? I don't call him trash. I think he's a top.
Keep going up. I'm not saying that, but keep going.
He's a top 10. He's a top 10 player in NBA history. I will never deny that. Never. Right. I think what he did in his time was amazing in his time. Yep. And I'm not didn't even bring up the
sorry. I'm letting him talking bullshit. You're talking bullshit, and we're letting you do it. Okay.
No. Keep going, Doug. Keep going, Doug. Hold on.
I'm mad at the truth. That's what it is.
Because we're gonna keep going, Doug.
20 minutes.
All I'm saying is the fact that I just do not think that it's undeniably he's the best center of all time. He's undeniably a top 3 guy, especially when I put in the context on what led to him being so successful.
Right. So with that being said, like I just talked to you about, we talked about context when you talked about the ABA. Would it surprise you that George Gervin only played 3 years in the NBA? And not only did he only play 3 years in the NBA, when he showed up to the NBA, he was 23 years old. So essentially he went to college. All right. The reason why he left Eastern Michigan was because he got kicked out of school for fighting. So he had to go to the ABA. That's number one. Moses Malone played 1 season in the ABA. That's it. 1 year. You were about to say something.
I was just going to say, like, I don't sit here and say that. I never said that those guys for the whole entire time they was playing in the NBA. But there were some years in those guys' career that they weren't in the league. I think Dr. J was 2 or 3 years, correct? How many years did he play in the NBA?
5.
5 years. Moses Malone was like 2 or 3, correct?
1 season Moses Malone played. Moses Malone played 1.
So what I said was there's some guys that didn't play in the same time as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar where helped him because it did help him to win some MVPs. That's all I said.
And my logic to counter that is Doc was the league, the ABA. He wasn't a good player in the league. He was the entire league. And at no point was he ever better than Jabbar. At no point.
I agree. But like the way Kevin Durant won an MVP.
We got to move on. Here's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna give everybody 60 seconds to get their last Kareem takeoff, and then we got to move on.
To clarify for you, Chilltown, like the way a Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Stephen Curry won an MVP, even though they're not better than LeBron, I do think that there's a year where Dr. J could win an MVP, even though he's not better than Kareem. That's all I'm saying.
And if that's true, I'd like to know what year, because Jabbar, in those years when Dr. J played in the ABA, he went 30-15 for 8 straight years. Chamberlain is the only guy in NBA history who could say that he did that. Nobody else. That includes Olajuwon, that includes Shaq, that includes Mutombo, that includes David Robinson. Those 2 guys are the only 2 guys who can say that. The year that Jabbar won the league MVP in the 75-76 season, he essentially had the same season that Joker had. The same season when Joker won the league MVP last year. The same exact thing. When I think about a guy like Jabbar, when I think about him, and you just clarified the logic of being a fraud. We're talking about a guy who was the best player of his generation. Was Doc awesome? Absolutely. But the holes that I poke in your logic is the ABA and the accolades. And the reason why I poke those holes in it, Dub, is because we have to take into account what production means. What the eye test means is something completely different than what production means. And the reason why I say that is because I've seen, quote unquote, better players get outplayed.
All right, Marz.
No, please let Fluent go. Please let Fluent go. Please let Fluent go. Please let Fluent.
All right, Fluent. 60 seconds to finish your Kareem rant or whatever you got to say. No rebuttals.
He's angry,
you get your last final word.
Oh my God!
Before we move on.
Focus, Tone.
1. I don't care how you're trying to justify it. You said Kareem is a fraud and has no case for the GOAT. Period. That's what you said. That is incorrect. Therefore, you have lost any debate because you said something that is blatantly untrue. 2, the reason I asked if you went to university is because reading and doing your research is great. It's wonderful. But there's a very big difference between theory and practice. You can read every single book on how to do a surgery. That doesn't mean you can go do brain surgery. So look up all the stats you want, read all the books you want, do whatever you want. There's still a missing piece that you will never, ever, 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 ever have. But that doesn't even matter, because the fact is you said he's a fraud who has no case for the GOAT, which we've already wasted too much time on it because it's clearly just a terrible, terrible. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Get out your bag, man. Get out your bag.
All right, and let me just say the last thing. I agree with what OG is saying. Just a quick rebuttal. A great example of how he could have lost an MVP is 76. Was he putting up great numbers? Sure. But we're again in reference to how it's being gauged now. And again, it's not saying that he didn't play the MVP low, because he did. But in a league where the media is voting, and if you don't make the playoffs, you're basically null and void of winning the MVP. That is a great example of a year where he does not win the MVP because of his team success. That does not mean that he didn't play at that level. He did. He clearly did. But that's what we're saying. Where if you are somebody like a LeBron or MJ or whatever, like you have to play and have the team success to back it up as well. Not saying it's right. We're just identifying what it is. And so
you're having to create hypotheticals.
I'm not even creating a hypothetical. We're just highlighting.
Nobody interrupted.
That's the narrative today, Lo. That's fair. That's the narrative today. That's the narrative today, Lo. That's fair. Absolutely.
I'm just highlighting
that's the narrative today. No doubt.
That's how it is today. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think most of us would disagree that that's how we'd agree that it's not. That's how it should not be ran anyway. But then the second point is to Fluent's point. The reality is, and to be fair to Flu, I'm not that familiar with like how well informed you are, but there are several people who existed in points of time in history who were there when it was happening and are grossly misinformed on what actually occurred.
Yes.
So what ends up happening,
are the ones that go based off memory and they don't continue to look back and look and learn. And just to my point, and Jay can give you some context to this because he knows it better than anyone because we see each other week in, week out. Do I, yes or no, Chill, do I not go back and look at things and change my mind when I get new information or a good point of view that makes me change whether it's a ranking or how I view a player?
I've actually swayed you in a number of different ways. Yes, I have. I've swayed you in a number of different ways.
I apologize.
Or if I go back and look and I go, oh my God, I didn't notice that before. And now when I compare it to something, I go, oh shit, I was wrong. I change it. And I have no qualms about saying, I thought this way, now I think that way. I don't care. And if people want to call me a flip-flopper, blah, blah, no. I am fluent enough to say,
for sure,
I learn and grow every single day.
And so to Fluent, I apologize if it came across that way, but the reality is that you are without a doubt an exception. Like we're in a world right now where I'm a hater because I just tell the truth about Russell Westbrook. Fair enough. I just tell the truth about Russell Westbrook.
People have been killed over the truth, Lo.
I tell the truth about Westbrook, and I'm just a hater, man. I'm a hater, man.
I hate everybody.
I told y'all that Jokic would be there defending him, and Zubac and Nurkic looked fine defending him the other night, man. But hey, man, I'm a hater, man. OG was laughing at me the other day, man. It's crazy, man. It's crazy when I said that, man. That's crazy.
All right, so we got to keep it pushing. Marz, do you want to chime in right quick about Kareem? Final thoughts before we move on.
I can.
Please, no response to Marz.
I don't think. Well, I'm not gonna say anything crazy. I don't think Kareem's a fraud. I have him as on my GOAT list. I think he's number 2. I don't use accolades, but I still have him number 2. But with the thing that was brought up by Ticket talking about you had to watch them or whatever to gauge an opinion. I think watching them live obviously brings a certain aspect that you can't replicate if you're watching it back. Like I'm not going to say I know what it felt like to watch Kareem live. I obviously don't. But I do think watching it back provides some sort of some sort of objectivity that you can't have if you watched it live, because I don't have any emotion attached to what happens. I'm going into it strictly based on I'm just judging you as a player. I don't know how this shot you made in the fourth quarter makes me feel. It was a big shot. It won a finals. I'm just looking at you as a player, as pure objectivity, just judging your game. I think there is something that you can't, for me, I can't. It's different for you if you know how a John Stockton pick and roll, how that made you feel when he made a big play in the 1992 playoffs. For me, every play, I'm weighing them basically equally because it's all just one game to me. Because I don't have any emotion attached to the stakes of that game because I already know the result.
You have emotion the outcome of games today?
For the most part, if I'm watching my team, there's emotion placed on the result. But if I'm going to judge players, because I don't judge players based on like a game I'm watching. When I'm watching a game live, it's for the entertainment of basketball. If I'm judging a player, I'm going to watch the games and it's strictly I'm focusing on that player.
Outside of the Warriors, I will say this. Outside of the Warriors, Marz, you're pretty objective. Outside of the Warriors, I'm
seen as a Warriors hater.
I would argue that some of that
outside of the Warriors, you're pretty objective. No doubt.
Sure Woods know I had a headache before I got here. I would say that some of the emotion though was good, right? Some of that, I agree. How that player made you feel, right, is actually goes to their greatness, right? The fact that a player would be scared of Michael Jordan, or the fact that you'd look to Allen Iverson like, what's he wearing? Like those are things that don't speak to his greatness on the court, but they do affect the way you think about them. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
And by the way, Dub,
something different, something I can't.
By the way, Dub, really quick, Jabbar won the Finals MVP at age 38. I just want to put that out there. Oldest player in the history of the game.
Voted by the media.
Andrew Iguodala's MVP.
Mm-hmm.
He
didn't win it at 38. So
all right, so let's keep it pushing. Shout out to Kareem. Shout out to all the other GOATs, all the gods in this basketball world.
Can we get Ticket back in here if he can act right? Can we get Ticket back in here if he can act right? Can we get Ticket back in here if he can act right?
Yo, so we gonna continue to keep it pushing. I got a new.
I want Ticket for the all-time draft. I need Ticket for the all-time draft.
We'll see. Maybe he'll come back for it. Maybe he won't. But what we will get into is this is opening week. It was a lot that went on. I'm gonna just put a couple things into context because context matters, right, Dub?
Context matters for sure.
We got a couple undefeated teams: the Milwaukee Bucks, the Portland Trailblazers, couple 3-1 teams, and a couple surprising teams. We got the Grizzlies at 3-1. We got the Celtics at 3-1. But we got some teams that are surprising us right now, like the San Antonio Spurs are 3-1. The Utah Jazz are 3-1. The Charlotte Hornets are 3-1. And then you got teams like the Miami Heat that are 1-3, the Sixers that are 1-3, the Nets that are 1-2, the Lakers haven't won a game yet. So I just want you guys to each recap this opening week. What were your surprises? What are some things that you weren't surprised about? And just your highlights of the week so far in this first week. Chill, I'm coming to you first.
Marz, I want to start the conversation with I repeat, do not let this Utah and Charlotte thing waver you. They are garbage. I'm telling you right now. Do not let this fool you. I got sucked in last year with the Washington Wizards. I believe it was December. I think they were the number 2 or the number 3 seed, and everybody was telling me that the Washington Wizards are going to be this. And I said, we'll have this conversation again in a month. Let's see what they look like. They fell to the bottom of the Eastern Conference. Do not get sucked into this Utah and Charlotte logic. They are garbage. I'm telling you that right now. Now, with that being said, so the Lakers open up, because Lo and I had this conversation last week. The Lakers open up against the world champs. I'm already under the impression they're not that good. I thought that they were going to beat them because of the hangover of what happened on ring night. That's the reason why I thought that they were going to beat them. But the fact that the Lakers shot the ball 41 times from the 3, you're not equipped to do that. Your team isn't built or good enough to do that. I like what I saw from them defensively in these last 3 games. They're a top two defensive team in the game, but offensively, their stance has to be somewhere else because it can't be shooting the long ball. That's not going to work. Philadelphia, I think that Joel Embiid and James Harden, I think there's a little bit of inconsistency there. I think that we're early in the season. I like what I'm seeing from those two, but I think that there needs to be more of a consistency between those two. Joel Embiid is cleaning glass, even though the game that they just had, he only had 5 rebounds, and I cannot appreciate that at all. Absolutely not. But against San Antonio, for him to go 40 and 15, I think that he needs to get himself more involved in the offense early when James Harden is pounding the basketball to get in the mid-range and in the mid-post. I think that's where he'll be more effective, and I think that that's going to result in more wins for the Philadelphia 76ers. When I talk about, the Memphis Grizzlies, they are reliant solely on Ja Morant. This team is historically bad defensively. They are terrible, and they are missing Jaren Jackson tremendously. I don't know if Ja Morant is going to hold up the entire season if he has to play like this, because I'm worried about his health. I've seen him break down during the season. I'm not worried about his game. I'm not worried about his talent. I think that he's one of the best players in the game. I'm not worried about that at all. But when I look at that team and how bad they are defensively, because Jaren Jackson isn't on the floor, I don't know if they could keep this pace up. And I don't know if Ja could keep this pace up. That's the thing that I'm worried about. And lastly, what I'm going to tell you, Damian Lillard plays himself back into the top 10 this year. That team is reliant on him. And I think that he's producing. I don't think that he's going to be 40 a game, no question about that. But he's basically had a lot of people forget about him over the course of the year because he was hurt and Portland wasn't that good. And he's going to not only play himself back into the top 10. I felt like Portland was a playoff team, a play-in team, maybe a playoff team. But I think that that's solely on the strength of Damian Lillard. And we may be having a conversation about Damian Lillard at the end of the season in the MVP talk.
Okay. Lo, how you feeling about this opening week?
I'm not gonna buy too much into the Dame talk because they played Denver, LA, and Sacramento. Those are possibly on the low end defensively, probably one of the worst defensive units. I'm not too sold on them. However, I do think that Dame is back. It's great to see that he is back. He's playing significantly better. So it's always just great to have a player like that back. Kawhi slowly trying to come in. I agree with Ja Morant, bro. Ja Morant is taking a leap, and only reason why I'm a bit more higher on Ja than I would be on Dame is because Ja seems like he has the motor to do it, and this is like this natural progression from one year to the next of who he's supposed to be as a player. So if he's going to take that leap this year, him and Tatum actually, I like what I see out of Tatum early on as well about what's going on with those two. I'm surprised about Philly. Some of it is Embiid looks like he's out of shape. He's not closing out properly. He's not rotating properly. And also, I think the offense is a bit janky still. A lot of it has to do with Doc Rivers not like organizing the offense correctly. They're way too dependent on. They have way too many offensive weapons to be overly dependent on Harden, ISO, and pick and roll, and Embiid post ups. Like they're just way too talented. And finally, I mean, I'm not surprised by the Lakers. I know some of y'all are, but me personally, I'm not surprised. I mean, I knew they were going to be bad. I told y'all they were going to be bad. I keep telling y'all they were going to be bad. I told you that centers will be defending Westbrook because they'll just sag off of him and roam around. I told you all that. I was laughed at last week. Told I was a casual. I guess I don't know basketball, I guess. But I told y'all that's going to happen. Chauncey Billups openly admitted if you watch the game, Nurkic was defending him the entire time. The game in which the Portland Trailblazers were trying to throw away, quite frankly. And then Zubac was also defending Westbrook as well. He's a massive negative on the court. He does not fit on his team. He needs to just be at home because I don't really think that he's I don't think he fits well on this team, and a lot of other teams in the NBA he doesn't fit well on either.
Lo, are we looking at Westbrook like we looking at like Keyshawn Johnson, how they did him in Tampa, where they just basically just sent him home and said that we'll just send you home and we'll see if we can get a trade partner.
You got to use an NBA analogy. I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're not a well.
John Wall last year.
Okay, yeah, John Wall. Is that what we're looking at?
I truly believe they need to just send him home. I'm not even trying to be funny. They just need to send him home. They just need to.
Okay, Fluent. What's your takeaways from this first week?
The Lakers are horrible. Like horrible.
Tone, you think they suck? Like you think they're terrible? That's your takeaway. You watching that team and you think that they completely suck. That's what you're telling me.
I think I'm 40 years old and that I can go in there and knock down more threes than anybody else on that team.
That's what you basing this on.
And I can't even
hit the long ball. That's it.
They can't hit
a logic, Tone.
I mean, that is quite detrimental when you're looking.
It is. I'm not gonna fight that part, but damn, that's all you see is the long ball. That's it.
I see
nothing good with this unit.
No. What's good on this unit? I would trade LeBron.
Yeah.
I would trade AD.
I think Anthony Davis is going to be an all-league defender this year.
I would fire.
To be honest with you,
I would fire Vogel. I would make Jeannie Buss sell the team. Like
maybe fire Ham.
Whatever the hell his name is. Ham. Yeah, Ham. He's a ham. Yeah, honey roasted.
He's a ham. It's crazy.
Ham. But other than that, I would say I would say it's too early. Everyone's gonna jump on, kind of be like, oh, look at. I don't know, Utah is 3-1, and it's too early, man. You're all following tricks. Just give it a couple of weeks. Yes, there's 10 guys averaging 30-plus points a game. That's not going to continue. Just give it a couple of weeks. So my takeaways are there's some teams that are Philly. I'm not worried about Philly. Joel Embiid always comes in out of shape and slow. Actually, that's typically what Harden does. So I'm not worried about Philly. I'm not worried about Embiid. I'm not worried about those teams that are supposed to be good that aren't, because this was the same thing. Remember last year, Cleveland was leading the East. There's going to be a few teams that surprise, and about 2 weeks in, when they've played 15, 20 games, that's when we'll start to see who they really are. How injuries will set in. So there's nothing. I'm liking what I'm seeing from my Toronto Raptors. I'm not liking what I'm seeing from the Lakers, and that's about it.
Shout out to Toronto. They've actually been really good. Shout out to Toronto.
I told you they'd be better than you thought.
Yeah, they look good.
Oh, they are.
Scotty Barnes, get healthy, baby.
Ticket.
Hey, Marz.
I know you're on your way to pull up.
Hey, Ticket, don't. Hey, Ticket. We ain't doing that, Ticket. Hey, Ticket, let me tell you something, Ticket. You're going to take it somewhere else, Ticket. We ain't doing that. We already did that, Ticket. No, we're not doing that. No, Ticket, we're not doing that.
I'm gonna take you to get you a driver's license because you wet behind the ears, boy, and your breath smell like Similac. You can't live in my world. And I'm gonna tell y'all something, right? I'm not playing no games. I want that boy on Thanksgiving on the bash. I want him, and don't bring no notes. And I came back to tell y'all that I did not run from the show. I talked to Ron before the show and told him I was gonna leave early because I got to go to practice. But Marz, you want to play this little game, boy? Like I said, you can't live in my world. I will take you and go get you a driver's license, right? So you can move around and you can come see me on Thanksgiving. You feel what I'm saying? Because I want to make sure you don't miss that date.
When's
Go ahead, dog.
He doesn't have Thanksgiving over there.
I don't know when Thanksgiving is. Oh, hello.
What's up, Playboy? You ain't got your boys with you now. One-on-one. What's up?
What's up?
Don't get quiet now. Don't get scared now. Don't poo-poo in your pants now. Let's get it. Now, what you were saying, young lad?
All right. Ticket. We gotta save it for Thanksgiving, Ticket. We gotta save it for Thanksgiving, Ticket.
Okay.
Can someone tell me the date of Thanksgiving? I don't know the date.
I want to preview.
No, get that dirty ass breath off the mic, bro. Stop coming at my man like that.
Can someone tell me the date of Thanksgiving?
Hey, Doug. Ain't nothing about this dirty. Everything we do is clean. I
feel you, but it's not shit coming out your mouth right now. I don't like the smell of it.
Hey, Doug, I ride a $100,000 cars. Amazing. Hey, don't play with me, dog. Like I said,
ain't not play with. I love you, Ticket. You coming on my man's though. You coming on my man's.
But that little boy right there, I'm going come Thanksgiving. Don't bring no notes. Just bring your basketball mind. And I'm gonna tear your ass up.
Keep that shit talking to a minimum, bro.
Like,
I've never.
You can get some too if you want some.
We get it. We can get it. It will be a tournament, man. I got you.
Hey, Ticket. Why were you so wrong? Ticket, why were you so wrong about the Lakers?
But it will be November 26th.
Hold on. Okay, low. You right. Low.
November 26th. Thank you.
Right. I was wrong about the Lakers, but guess what? I ran behind the dude that y'all said was the man.
Whoa, Ticket, wait a minute. Hold on, Ticket. Hold on. Wait a minute. What's the logic that you were wrong? Wait a minute. We just started the season. Listen. No, I said no because I told Low they was gonna beat Golden State on opening night. I said that too.
Right. Hold on. Watch this.
I'm asking.
Watch this. Watch this. I'm about to eat the Low right now. Well, I ain't gonna eat them because Low, he's right. But here's what I'm saying, bro. Nobody can complain about the Lakers roster because half the roster signed the clutch. If half the roster signed the clutch, how can anybody complain?
What does that have to do with me asking you why are they so bad?
No, they're bad because half the roster signed the clutch.
That doesn't make any sense, bro. What are you talking about?
They can't play.
And it was worse. You knew.
Let me make it make sense. Hold on.
This is information that you knew. You knew that information before the season began.
No. Hold on. I didn't know until I went and actually looked it up that half the roster was on clutch. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Kendrick Nunn and all of them was signed the clutch until after I looked back. I didn't know Juan Toscano was signed the clutch.
That doesn't make them worse basketball.
That's like saying that.
No. That explains to me why they out there getting minutes. Juan Toscano should not be getting no minutes, bro. He ain't get no minutes with the Warriors. Why is he playing prime minutes with the Lakers?
I thought he was a wing defender. That's
who else are they gonna give to?
I know, right?
There's nobody.
I was told he's a wing defender. Now he shouldn't be getting pieces.
Hey, Low, even when I'm wrong, I'm right because you was over here poking your chest about the T-Wolves. Even when you was over here poking your chest about the T-Wolves, and the T-Wolves stink.
Yeah, they do suck. There's a lot of teams that you guys said that you guys like.
500.
There's the GOAT right there.
They're 2-2.
Right, but they
what
suck.
are we talking about right there? We compared a team that's 0-3 that has by far the worst offense in the NBA to a team that's 2-2 right now. What are we talking about right now? Also, you said that he's receiving way more minutes. He's receiving 4 or 5 more minutes than he received last year with the Warriors. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, Juan Toscano was playing no minutes for the Warriors. How you getting burned for the Lakers?
There was no. First of all, he was. Well, hold on, Lo. Number one, Juan Toscano was playing behind Andrew Wiggins last year. There was no run for him. There was no run for him up there in Golden State. Ticket. No, it wasn't. No run for him up there in Golden State. No. Now, I'm sorry. What were we talking about before Ticket showed up? We was talking about this.
We were talking about opening week, but Ticket, I'm glad you showed up. What are your takeaways from this first week? Your surprises, the things that you expected to happen, things you called out. What? How do you feel about this last week?
I think we lost Ticket. We had him, and I think we lost him.
Marz, I think he just got to your house.
Well,
I think we lost him.
Just a quick fact check, bro. He's receiving 4 or 5 more minutes than he did last year, and the reason why is because the team is built differently. That's such a brain dead argument. The team
and it was playing. The reason why is because the reason why is because he signed the clutch is the reason why he's even on the court. He shouldn't be on the court. But let me try.
Who are you gonna put in instead of him?
They don't have
nobody, bro.
I got some news. Hold on, I got some news that make y'all. I got some news that'll make y'all happy. I'm hearing that Russ played his last game as a Laker. I'm hearing he ain't never gonna play as a Laker again. I'm hearing he's done.
I have no idea. Okay, all right. Why is he shooting this poorly, Ticket? Since you said that he was gonna shoot better, like why Russ? Why is he,
listen, bro. Listen. I'm gonna tell you something, Lo. I'll be very honest with you, bro. Russell Westbrook isn't as mentally strong as I thought he was. Listen, when you watch him throughout his career, no, I'm being honest. I mean, this happens sometimes when you learn about different players. If you play the game, you'll understand what I'm saying. You watch a dude from afar, and you think, like, for example, when you watch him at OKC, you watch him go through the whole KD situation. Everybody thought he was mentally tough. He stayed with OKC. He tried to push him through the grind. He got the triple doubles, all this. Once he felt that real pressure, and I'm gonna tell you something, that is a test of basketball. When you play with LeBron James, if you can play under that pressure, you a hooper for real. Once he got under that pressure, where the media is going to get on everything you do wrong, now guess what? Once you miss a shot, now the weight of the world is on you. So when you get ready to shoot that next shot, it's more pressure. And then he just completely lost his mind, bro. I'm telling you, if you ain't mentally built for that happens.
Is it not fair to say that it's gotten to him? Is that not fair to say that?
It's
I think it's fair to say he just can't shoot.
He can't shoot, and y'all knew that before the season
he's
began.
Bad. Low. The man is 30% for his career. The man is 30% for his career. He's shooting 8% this year, bro.
Well, that's because of play style, bro, and that's what you're not considering. You're not understanding the fact that Russell Westbrook, for his whole entire career, he was a guy. You play basketball. You getting into rhythm and getting into a flow means a lot. And you turned a guy who was usually getting to the rack, maybe doing some floaters, maybe a little mid-range, and now you're making him more of a jump shooter. That's gonna make him worse as well because he's playing a role that he's never been strong at.
I agree with you, homie. But check this out. Here's what you can't blame on LeBron and them. The man is airballing layups, bro. The man is missing layups, bro.
But
I agree with you on that.
But that happened last year.
No. But Dub. He's airballing layups this year, bro.
Airball last year.
I didn't see the airball. I seen the hard bricks.
Yes.
I didn't see the airball.
I couldn't understand your point. I couldn't understand your point where I do think the pressure is high and is getting to him a bit. I understand that point. But let's not just put that all on that. And let's put that on the adjustment of play style that he has to be a part of. You're making him more of a jump shooter and everything like that. And that is not his game, bro.
Dub, I don't care how much your play style changes. You don't go from even a 30% 3-point shooter to 8. I'm sorry. You might take a dip, but not 30 to 8. That's excessive. There's
and that's fair.
He's turning down butt naked looks. He's not turning down wide open looks. He's turning down butt naked looks.
He was turning down butt naked looks last year.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's gotten even worse.
I just don't understand why, especially. I understand what he's missing more layups, but he also is getting older. Also he's shooting more shots. And he's turning it down. Those are all things that we knew that he was going to be before the season began. Maybe to not this severity, right? Maybe instead of him shooting 8% from 3, he could be shooting better. But him being a bad 3-point shooter and a floor spacer, the opposing team sagging off of him, sitting in the paint, putting the 5 men on him, and having him defend him. you should have known this was happening. Not only because I told you it was going to happen.
But you know what though? You saying that.
You said
Get it off, Fluent.
The reason why I disagreed with you when he said, "Oh, they're going to put the center on him," because I didn't think the Lakers would be stupid enough not to take advantage of that. Right? Like if you put a center on Russ, he should be blowing by him and going to the rack every single time. And he's
they tried. He tried that though against the Clippers. He got blocked by Zubac one time. He missed another layup on Zubac, and then the paint just collapsed another time because AD is on the floor and he's also shooting like 20% from three.
Well,
the dynamic of the team is not meant for Russell Westbrook to take advantage of anybody.
That I agree. I said that when they traded for him in the first place, but
even when the big is on him,
to be better.
They're already sagging off of him. So when he drives, he's driving into somebody who's already in the paint who just contests. He's doing that.
Penetrate and dish.
But who are you dishing it to though? Who are you dishing
Lonnie
it to?
Walker to miss.
Lonnie Walker.
That's what I'm saying.
At least you're not
dishing it to another mediocre three-point shooter.
And let's not do that 8% nasty thing. Like it's only 3 games.
On that smooth
he's not shooting
made
8%.
one more free.
Yeah, he's not shooting
He's still
8% for the
around
whole year, bro.
30%.
Right, he's not that. But to
Sure.
Ticket's point, like we're talking about a Los Angeles Lakers team who Lonnie Walker shoots over 35% for his career. Pat Beverly shoots over 35% for his career. A lot of these guys, Kendrick Nunn shoots over 35% for his career. Is it possible that the lights are a little bit brighter in Los Angeles and playing with LeBron James might be a little bit too much for these dudes? Is that fair?
I just think when you're asking someone like Lonnie Walker, who I know was never a high volume shooter, maybe like 2 a game, 35%. But once you start telling them to triple that volume,
right. Six a game is a lot for Lonnie Walker.
Yeah, the volume, the percentage is going to go down.
There's players that are good in spurts, right? They come off the bench, they shoot 2 or 3. Hey, they're wonderful. Ask them to start.
Playing in San Antonio ain't the same as playing in Los Angeles, man. Playing in Minnesota ain't the same as playing in Los Angeles.
If you make Steph only take 10 threes, he might shoot 45%. You make him take 20, he's about to shoot 38%. Because you take more, you're gonna have to. In the first part of his career, Lonnie Walker was only attempting 3 a game.
Right.
That's
why he shooting 37. He's doubling that right now. And again, maybe the sample size is too small, so hopefully they start shooting better. But the reality is that as long as you had AD and Westbrook on the court with one another, they're going to sag off of the other one to come and help. That's just what they're going to do.
And since you mentioned that,
Lonnie Walker, sorry, I was just going to say Lonnie Walker 4.7. Shot 35%, then 5 a game, 31% so far this year,
right.
5.7, 17%. So he's not shooting ridiculously more. Sorry,
it will come up.
But the year before when he shot 5, he was attempting 5. He shot 31% from 3.
Yeah, 31%.
Even when the volume did go up, he did
4.7. It was, and he shot 35%.
That's 1 year. That's 1 year out of his career.
Now to your
remember Schroeder was shot 38% that 1 year, and they brought him in. They're like, oh, he's gonna, and then he went back down to what he did.
I never thought Schroeder was going to.
This is why we have to take stats with a grain of salt. We have to be real with this and understand that majority of these guys are not spot up shooters. These are not guys that could just sit here, just catch and shoot and do that efficiently. Yes, they shot 31%, but it's not in the same role in which they're playing in now, which is why we just can't sit here and say, oh, he shoots 31%, so he should be doing this. No, bro, that's not how it works. Kendrick Nunn was a good shooter on the Miami Heat, but he was never a spot up shooter. He was a guy that operated with the ball in his hands. Now he's in a different role, and that's not his game. So just don't be like, oh, 31%, they're shooting lower than that, and the pressure's getting to them. No, their play styles are completely different.
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Even if their play styles are different, Dub, with that also being said, there are things that matter. So the fact that the long ball is open, the reason why the long ball is open is because the mid-range isn't working. And the mid-range isn't working. That's why the defense has collapsed. If the mid-range works, that means the defense expands and the rim is open more. And if the rim is open more, we can get more opportunities to the basket on one-on-ones. But we can't do that because our game is predicated on either the long ball or going to the basket. So if our game is predicated on either going to the basket or the long ball, then our offense is going to be stagnant because they're going to just basically sag in the paint. Even though we do have illegal defense in the NBA, I can get with that logic. We do have that. But with that also being said, we are dealing with pros too. Pros who do make, and I understand, Dub, that we're talking about guys who playing in different systems. We still get open looks. And when you have open looks, you should be able to knock down open shots.
And I could agree with you on that.
And Lonnie Walker, who was shooting, I think, 5 threes a game now than he was shooting in San Antonio, he's still getting open looks. It's not like he's getting contested 6 threes, and it's not like Kendrick Nunn, who played with the basketball a lot in Miami. He plays with the basketball a lot in Los Angeles with that second unit, and he's still getting a lot of open looks. Still,
I get your point, but again, basketball is about rhythm. Basketball about flow, and if that's not your flow, that's not your rhythm. It's gonna still be hard for you to excel, even though it's an open look.
But hey, Doug, let me say this. Doug, let me say this to you, Doug, and I'll be very honest with you, bro. Russell Westbrook's never going to start another game in the NBA after this season again. And if he doesn't want to, hold on, Doug, I'm gonna say this to you. I'm being very honest with you, bro. I'm being very honest with you. It ain't just that. His skills, like Lo said, I have to agree with Lo. His skills have diminished, bro. And I'm gonna tell you why his skills have diminished. Because his confidence has diminished. And sometimes when you're confident, listen, it's just like being a boxer. Once you get knocked out a couple times, bro, you ain't the same fighter no more. You understand what I'm saying? Once Russ have experienced this type of criticism, and once he have experienced this type of failure, bro, Russ is not a player who can adjust his game and do other things. In this NBA, as a point guard, you have to be able to shoot the ball. So, yeah, he was able to get the triple doubles and all that other stuff. Now that his game has been completely exposed while being under the bright lights, every other team not only is going to watch how he's handling the situation, which is poorly, but they're going to look that he can't make adjustments. He can't change his game. And teams are not going to put these young guys out here that they're trying to develop and sit them down to let Russ play and try to carry you to the playoffs. No, it's over with, bro. Those days, and I hate to say it because I wanted Russ to be successful, but those days after this year, he may never play another NBA game again in his life, bro. And it's that bad. It's that bad,
hope that's
bro.
not the case.
Hey, chill. What did I tell you the Lakers should do this offseason?
Trade LeBron.
Trade everybody.
Yeah, you said starting with James. Trade James. Blow this whole thing up.
Blow it up.
Yo,
I tried to buy in. I believe it more now than then.
Chat, we will get around to the super chats. It's been spicy this whole time. It's been nonstop back and forth. I will get to your super chats. Relax. I will get to them. Marz, I need your recap on week 1. How do you feel up to this point?
I mean, most of the big teams have been covered. So I'm going to talk about the Timberwolves because I thought their defense would be sustainable. I watched a couple games. We talk about how Karl Anthony Towns is a bad defensive big man. I didn't know he was this bad.
Yeah,
I was watching the Spurs game literally before we came on the show. There was like nearly double-digit occasions where he genuinely, visibly was confused on what he was doing on the defensive side of the ball.
It looked confused.
He would be brought into the actions. He would be brought into action, and he would raise his arms and look around like he's saying, "What is going on?" He doesn't know what to do.
I told you.
The Timberwolves are trying to keep Rudy Gobert in the middle, so everyone else roams around. Rudy Gobert will guard whoever's closest to the rim. And what Karl Anthony Towns is being asked to do is either stay on the weak side in the corner. But if his man goes to set a screen, he looks completely lost and doesn't know where to position himself on the floor.
Well, he got a couple 4s now. Yeah, he got a couple 4s instead of 5s now. Now he's got a couple 4s.
There was one possession in the second quarter. I think the Timberwolves are trying to run a zone. They had Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, and one other player on the back line. It was a 2-3 zone. Jeremy Sohan went up to set a screen, and whoever had the ball, who had the ball for the Spurs? Whoever their guard was, I think it was Josh Richardson.
Keldon Johnson, I believe it was.
No one stepped up to play the pick and roll. It was literally a free pick and roll. There was no big man defender. There was about 6 minutes left in the second quarter. You can go watch the game. There was no big man defender. It was a free pick and roll. They were expecting, I think, whoever the guard was, it might have been Anthony Edwards or D'Angelo Russell, to fight over that screen alone with no big man, no show, no hedge, no hard trap, nothing. There was no defense being played. It was a free pick and roll at the top of the key with no help anywhere to be found. When I watched that, I was like, this defense is not going to work. I will say they picked up in the fourth quarter a little bit. The defense looks better. But Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns on the same court on defense, it's never going to work. Karl Anthony Towns is too bad defensively to make that.
Well, now, hold on for a second, Lo. I'm not Lo. I'm sorry, Marz. Now, here's the issue. The issue is that Karl Anthony Towns is now moving to the 4. Now he played the 5. Now he's going to be covering more 4s, which means he's going to be covering on the perimeter. So now that's a different defensive assignment. He's going to have to adjust to that. Now, do I think that he's going to be historically bad? No, because he was used to being the primary rebounder, being the primary rim protector. That was his job. Now, the fact that Rudy is doing that, Rudy is man in the paint. Rudy is protecting the rim. Rudy is the primary rebounder. So now Karl-Anthony Towns has to completely move to a different position. So it's essentially like moving from the wide receiver to the tight end. Now I'm responsible for blocking. Now I'm responsible for dealing with the linebacker.
Football analogies Low can't follow.
Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to. Tight ends. Tight ends do block. They do block.
Wednesday night, 9 p.m. PC Gridiron Low. We'll get your football knowledge up. Go ahead.
The point that if you guys like Fluent and Dub going back and forth.
The point that I'm making, Marz, is that I think it's just going to be an adjustment. It looks bad right now. It's the same thing that I told you about not getting sucked in with Utah and Charlotte. It looks bad right now, but it's going to be an adjustment, and I don't think this is going to continue. I think this is going to get better as time goes on. It just looks bad right now. I mean, it
has to get better.
I think it's going to get better.
I don't know if you guys watched it. If you watched it,
I think you're wrong, man. I told y'all before this whole thing started, Minnesota not going to make the playoffs. They don't have that mental build, bro. They don't. I'm telling you, when they let their veterans go, they don't have the mental build. And I'm talking about they don't have the vets over there that if they hit a bad streak to get them out of it the right way, bro. When you in a locker room and you got vets in that locker room, that's the one thing I do respect about LeBron. If you look at all his championship teams, he kept older vets in that locker room. You know why? That was to help him keep the other guys in check. So when stuff got out of line, you had OGs in the locker room that was holding it down. Now with that team right there, they don't have nobody in that locker room like a Rondo or anybody that can get that group together if something go wrong, man. And if they go bad, they're going all the way bad. They're not getting up out of that, bro. They're not getting up out of that.
Marz,
they had a week schedule in the NBA.
No, I'll tell Marz click that link. At least the link I just put in there. It's like more evidence that Towns looked like a deer on defense. Like he just looked like frantic.
It's just an adjustment. It's an adjustment, Low.
But the problem. Oh, go ahead, go.
No, I was gonna say, Ticket. I agree with you on what you said. I'm not gonna completely write them off though to say that they won't be a playoff bound team. I do think they'll be in the play-in. My whole point though with adding Rudy Gobert, I don't think it moved the bar for them at all. At the end of the day, they're gonna have probably the same struggles which they had last season. No, they're gonna have worse struggles defensively because having Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert at the same time, it's something that's never going to work, Chill. I don't think that this is something that Cat can be adjusted to. I think he's too slow on his feet. He's too much of a big guy. His game is being in the paint. Him being at the 4 and trying to guard up defensively, move around like that, I don't think that's something that's sustainable for defense, especially in the playoffs.
Look at that link I put in there,
he wasn't even good protecting the paint. And the thing is, last year they ran Jared Vanderbilt and like they weren't using Cat as a rim protector, really. They were still trying to keep him out of every action because he's just terrible. He can't guard a pick and roll. He doesn't know any pick and roll coverages. And if he does, he doesn't know how to implement them. He doesn't protect the rim at any high level. He's too soft around the rim. He doesn't block any shots. The only time he blocks shots is if he comes over from the weak side and they don't see him coming. But he's not a rim protector of any sort. He's a good rebounder. I'll give him that. He's a good rebounder.
And I never believe.
But he doesn't move his feet. He doesn't understand any sort of rotations anywhere. He doesn't understand on-ball coverages, off-ball coverage. He doesn't understand anything about defense. He's lost. Like if you just watch Karl-Anthony Towns for about 5 possessions. If you want to go watch the Spurs game, watch every time they try to bring Cat's man into a pick and roll. Just watch how he reacts and look how terrified he looks.
And I must say it's the body language too that like really kills him. He looks lost. Like he visibly looks lost. And I understand what you're saying, Chill. Like with more reps, things will happen. But and this is always my concern with him is that it's not just that he needs more reps. It's that he needs like more reps in every aspect. The power forward position is like right now the most important, in my opinion, the most important defensive position in the league outside of potentially like the actual paint protector. And the reason why is because as a power forward, there's so many things you are expected to do now because the league is getting smaller and more perimeter oriented. So you're going to have to guard a perimeter. You want to know when to come a weak side. You're going to have to come with rotations. You're going to have to be able to switch. And almost every team has a power forward who can do that at a proficient rate enough to where it doesn't damage them regardless of whatever they may be giving up on either side of the floor. Towns looks lost. Like, if y'all click that link I just put in there,
I saw it. There was no
literally like just like waving his hands. Like, oh my god!
I think that here's the problem.
I got to tip on out. Love y'all, brothers, man. Everybody in the chat room, y'all already know this is how we do. Marz, I still got love for you, but that's your ass when I see you on Thanksgiving. Hey, I'm gonna holler at y'all. I got to go in the arena, man. Peace.
All right.
It's obvious that it's obvious that the effort is there. It's just now a matter of getting down the schemes and understanding where he's supposed to be. Because again, Lo, we're talking about a guy who has to play a different position. He's not playing the same position that he was playing last year. He has to play the 4 now. Not only does he have to defend the 4, he has to defend the 4 in different spots. This isn't the 4 that's Malone, who's going right to the box and he's just defending him on the box, and all I got to do is defend on the block and rebound. No, I got to defend the 4 in pick and pop action. I got to defend the 4 in pick and dive action. I got to defend the 4 in transition who's stopping and popping 22 feet away from the basket. I got to defend that guy.
It's what the 3 used to be.
Right. So this is a completely different scheme that Cat is now involved in, and he's got to learn that. So is it hopeless? No, I'm not going to say it's hopeless, but it's definitely going to be an adjustment. No doubt about it.
How long you think it'll take?
I tell you what, you got the whole season.
Next year.
I think it's a year adjustment. I think it's
I'm not gonna lie, Chill. I don't think he's athletically capable of making that.
I don't think he's mentally capable. I don't think he.
Oh, you don't think he understands the game that much? You
defensively, no.
That's what I'm talking about.
No.
The one thing I'll agree with Marz. I'll agree with Marz. When you see a guy throwing it like listen, we've all played. Chill's gonna laugh when I say it. We all play with dumb dudes, right?
They're
dumb.
Like, what the hell are you doing?
Throw up their hands. What are we doing? We're like, hey, over there. You're right. You put them into position. That's what I'm getting. Cat. Those kind of vibes from Cat.
The only way they can adjust it is if they set the scheme up to where Towns is always stuck in the corner. So like when they try to, because like in the beginning of that play I gave y'all, when they switch, they should have just said, hey, Towns should have been like, hey, I'll stay down here. You stay at the top. Everything. Yeah, they would have to like Towns will have to like switch every action on the corner so he can stay in the corner and come a weaker strong side.
That's not going to work.
But I know it's not, because they're already kind of doing that with Gobert. You can't have too many players who can't be switchable.
Right.
But they're looking like they're trying to like switch everything with Towns even on the perimeter. And bro, that's just, but he looked lost out there, bro.
Dude, in today's NBA, look who's playing the 4. It's Braun. It's DeMar DeRozan. He can't guard those guys.
Can't guard them.
So nobody's questioning Rudy Gobert at all, a guy who was supposed to fix these defensive laps, and this wasn't supposed to be.
Don't do that, Dub. He had 20.
The reason
he can't hold his hand mid possession. Be like, hey, are you coming?
He's telling. No, the thing is, if you watch, he's telling Cat where to be. Cat is not like Rudy Gobert is literally walking Cat through possessions. Cat is just stumbling and falling over every time.
Not to mention
too, do that thing. Y'all can't do that. You can't like blame somebody else for everyone else ineptitude.
When Cat wasn't on the floor in the fourth quarter, or he was on the floor, and they were running traditional drop coverage. If Rudy is the big, they spark to run defensively. Rudy Gobert is capable of anchoring that defense. It's just Karl Anthony Towns is such a liability.
Here's the problem that we have in Marz. The problem that we have is Dub is completely subjective when it comes to Rudy Gobert. There is no objectivity.
I know.
There is no objectivity with Dub when it comes to Rudy Gobert.
But can I tell you why?
I'm all ears, please, sir.
My whole point is I think that Rudy Gobert is a phenomenal rim protector, and I think if he's on a team that has good perimeter defense like a Boston Celtics, we could see his full potential.
Right.
But the way that people talk about him, the way that people praise him as if he's this crazy defensive changer, especially in defensive scheme, and I'm like, well, I think it's something that's sustainable in the regular season, him playing drop coverage, but especially in the playoffs, that's something that could definitely take advantage of. And I see what he's doing right now, what he's been doing for his whole entire career, being a rim protector, playing drop coverage, not stepping out to guard up, to limit three-point shooting, and a lot of teams are killing them on the three-point shooting aspect as well.
That's just incorrect. It's just an incorrect assessment of Rudy Gobert.
They're not killing Rudy Gobert on high pick and roll.
Yeah, like he's a center, and to be quite frank, out of all the big men in the NBA, and not like power forwards who play the 5.
Right.
No, like out of all the legitimate big men in the NBA,
Embiid, Joker.
I think he does a fine job on switches. Like there's of course he's not going to.
He only switches when he has to.
Here's the
he only switches when they drive to the paint.
But again, that's like me assessing. Like that's like me. I'm not going to sit here and kill Russell Westbrook because he can't shoot threes. Like I knew it already before the season started. So it's like I'm like my assessment on Westbrook as a player is like I already accept the fact that he can't shoot threes. You're asking Rudy Gobert to do something in which he's already making up a lot of defensive flaws on the team to do even more. And the reality is what ends up happening is when you have one player trying to do everything for a team, regardless of the aspect, when that player is schemed out of the offense or defense, or that team or that player goes on the bench, the whole unit just crumbles apart because they've been dependent on him the entire time. So reality is Rudy Gobert should never, like nobody really should ever be anchoring an entire offense, defense, playmaking, rebounding. It shouldn't be.
Which is exactly what Rudy does. And not only does he do that, Dub, you completely disregard that because you stuck on Terrence Mann going for 39 and that wasn't his fault either because the defense got stretched out. Which, by the way, Dub, let me make sure that I remind you. You know how many games that Terrence Mann has had that he scored 25 since he scored that 39? One game since then. That's it. So the idea that Rudy, the impact that he has defensively on his unit as a rim protector, as a paint protector, right? Just holding, and not only that, you also have to take into consideration when I got a guy behind me that's that good defensively, that ups my chances on the wing to take more chances and to be more aggressive defensively because I know that when I make mistakes, he's going to cover me as opposed to when I'm clueless. As Marz is saying, when I'm clueless and I don't know what's going on, there's a difference between me making mistakes where I end up getting beat on the baseline or I'm too high on the wing and I overplay as opposed to, well, I don't even know what my assignment is. That's completely different. That's not the same thing.
All right, so we got to keep it pushing. Sorry, Doug. We got to get off the Timberwolves. We got to get off Rudy. We got a couple more things that we have to get into. Before I read off all you guys' super chats, I'll have a little sneaky game that I want to play with you guys, and I want to know if this production after week 1 is sustainable or not for this player. I'm gonna read you their averages at this moment, and you tell me if they can continue this through the rest of the season. So I'm gonna start with Ja Morant. He's averaging 35 points and 7 assists. Is this sustainable or not? Lo, I'm gonna start with you, and we just go around the room.
Just the 35 and 7 or everything else because he's shooting like 60% from 3.
57% to be exact.
Yeah. So the 35 and 7 still kind of no. I don't think he averages 35 points, but like, can he be like in the 30 plus with 7 assists? Yes. But the efficiency that's coming along with it, probably not. No.
Marz?
No.
Fluent?
We ain't hear you, Tone. We can't hear you, Tone. Your mic is off.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
No.
I thought you was just like, Fluent. I thought you was just like, this is so crazy. I'm not even gonna speak.
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought he said.
Like 35 points per game and 60% from 3. No, of course he can't do it. No. Keep it up. No.
You ain't got to be mad because I talked crap about somebody you ain't watched, man. Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Rob, what was the question?
Is 35 and 7 sustainable for Ja for this season?
Nah, I think he got 30 though.
Chill?
No, I don't think he's gonna hold up. I don't.
Okay. Next person we have is none other than Luka Doncic. 33 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Is this sustainable or nah? Low.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm actually gonna say yes.
That sounds nuts right there, yo.
Yes. Even and if it's not 33, don't kill me. If it's 32, don't kill me. But yeah, I think 33, 8, and 8 is sustainable.
That's nuts, yo. 33, 8, and 8. That's Jordan at 88, 89.
It's really wild.
That's Jordan, 88, 89. It's 33, 8, and 8. What?
Marz?
Yeah, it's sustainable. I wouldn't bet on it, but it's sustainable.
Fluent?
I can't believe I'm going to say this. Yes, because it's not like he's shooting it's not like Ja where he's shooting 60%. He's shooting 31% from 3, 48% from the field. So he's doing this while doing what his career averages. So yeah. MVP Luka, 33, 8, and 8.
Yo, Luka is goated, bro. I swear, bro, he is, son. He's really he's on a projection course towards the top 10 player ever, bro. I know I'm speaking crazy, but look at what he's done. The playoff numbers he had is comparable to Michael Jordan. The start that he's had is comparable to LeBron James. Even Michael Jordan himself, Chilltown, you said it too, 33-8-8. That's something that MJ resembled, bro. Luka Doncic is him, bro. He's really on the collision course towards a top 10 player in NBA history, man.
I'm going on record, Dub. If he goes 33-8-8 this year, Dallas is a top 5 seed and Luka wins the league MVP going away.
No,
I'm saying it. If he is 33-8-8, that means that his PER is through the roof. That means that his plus minus is through the roof, and that means Dallas is a top 5 seed. He's winning MVP going away if he's 33-8-8.
So is it sustainable for you, Chill? I know we're saying if, but
no, I don't think so.
No.
Come on,
no, I don't. I don't think so. I don't.
All this love everybody had for the Nuggets, but they ain't show that same love for the Mavericks, man. I didn't understand why. The Mavericks was a good defense last year, and they had the best player, a better player in my opinion. And you feel me? I just didn't think Dallas Mavericks got a lot of love. I think the Denver Nuggets got more love.
Well, here's the difference, though. Dub. The difference is that when I look at what Luka is doing for this offense, how solely responsible he is for everybody's offense, as opposed to last year when Brunson was on the crew. Brunson created a different aspect that they didn't have. They don't have that now. I mean, Christian Woods looked like he might be an all-star. You know why? As a rim runner, that's it. As a rim runner and a stop and pop guy, he looked like he might be an all-star. Kind of like what Chris Paul was looking like he was about to do if he had Biyombo the entire season. Looked like he would have made him into an all-star. We know that Biyombo is the rotation guy. Same thing with Christian Wood, but that's the Luka effect. Now, if again,
I think Christian Wood's good. I don't.
I'm not saying. Whoa. I'm not saying that Christian Wood is whack. I'm not saying that he's whack. In no way am I saying that he's whack. What I am saying though is the Luka effect makes him a lot better because of the attention that Luka draws, the playmaker that Luka is, the distributor that he is, the scorer that he is, the player that he is in transition. He makes Christian Wood that much better. So for him to be 33-8-8, I think Dallas is a top 5 seed, and I think Luka wins the MVP going away.
Hey, all right, we should have brought that up about Chris Paul because that man is done.
I think he's done too. I think
Chris Paul is done. He's done. I'm tired. He's done.
All right, moving on to the next player. I got Donovan Mitchell. He's currently averaging 33 with 7 assists and 5 rebounds. Is this sustainable low?
33 points, no. When what's his name comes back, when Garland comes back, he'll go down in points.
Marz?
No.
Fluent?
No.
Dub, I know
Many good defenders on the team. They're going to ask him to play some defense at some point.
He's been playing good on defense. He's been giving a ton of effort. We're not going to do that. Now, I know you ain't watched the Cleveland game.
What are you talking about? I was at the Cleveland game.
Then I don't know what you was watching.
I was watching
another one of my points. Another one of my points. Even though you lived through it, doesn't mean you know what you're seeing. You feel me? Anyways,
defender now, Dub.
Nah, but D. Mitchell's been giving
the greatest defender of all time, according to
no. He's been giving a ton. He's been giving a lot of effort on defense. He's been giving a lot of effort on defense. Nah, bro, he's been giving a lot of effort on defense. You're not gonna do that. He's doing 30. He's 30. What was he? 30-9 right now, right?
Yeah.
Yo, bro, listen. I said it before. I'm gonna say it again. He's one of the best shooting guards in the league, bro. We're not gonna sit here and do that. It's debatable between him and Donovan Mitchell.
Who? No, I don't.
Okay, so Donovan Mitchell.
He is Donovan Mitchell.
He means Devin Booker. He means Devin Booker. He means Devin Booker.
Oh, Devin Booker.
Oh, Devin Booker. My bad.
Is it sustainable, Dub? Is it sustainable?
Nah, when Darius Garland come back, I think it will go down, but I think he'll have like 27, 28.
Okay, chill.
No, I don't think this is sustainable.
Absolutely. Next player that I got for you guys is none other than Jayson Tatum. 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. Is this sustainable for him?
Yes.
Marz?
No.
Fluent?
No.
Dub?
I'm going to say yes, bro. Jayson Tatum's taking a leap, bro. He's getting better every year. He's knowing his role. He's maturing as a basketball player. Like, this dude, I think by the end of the season, he'll finish as a top 7 player in the league.
I mean, ESPN had him ranked at 7 over KD. Chill.
Yeah, but to expect the guy to keep shooting 90 30+% and 38% from 3 and 60% from the field, it's not going to happen.
Oh well, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, the splits probably not, but I think he can be like a 30+ scorer with 8 rebounds. For sure.
Yeah, the splits is
so if Boston, so if he's 30 and 8 and Boston is the number 2 seed in the East, what are we talking about here about Jayson Tatum?
You are obsessed. He's not.
I'm about to say
it, Tone. Say it, Tone.
No.
Say it, Tone.
No.
He could be an MVP. I'm not going to hold you. He could be.
Say it, Tone.
He will.
Say it.
You will solidify himself.
Hold on for a second, Low. Say it, Tone.
No.
Say it.
You and Miss Fluent always pushing this Jayson Tatum agenda.
Me and Mrs. Fluent, we are on the.
Jayson Tatum isn't even the best player on his team. Get out of here.
Say it, Tone.
Come on, don't lie.
This is what I got to put up with this thing.
I think he'll solidify himself as a top 10 player because right now it's kind of like up in the air with everybody being healthy or not. But like,
okay, fine. Here, Chill. You've been bugging me for 2 years. Yes, if he puts up those numbers and they're a top 2 seed, we are going to have serious conversation about Jayson Tatum and the MVP.
That's all I was asking. That's all I'm asking, Tone. That's it. And to answer your question, I don't think
right there. I
don't think 32 is sustainable, but I think between 27 and 29 or close to 27 to 30, I think that's realistic. No doubt about that. I do think that's sustainable for him.
Okay. Next player I got is Devin Booker, averaging 32 and 5 assists. Will he continue this for the rest of the season? Is it sustainable low?
No.
Marz.
He's playing like 40 minutes a game, so no.
Fluent.
Yeah, no. He's again. I look at the splits, the minutes. He can't keep that pace. Although he's going to get the opportunities because that other dude there is looking every bit his age.
Chris Bosh is done.
Dub.
Nah.
So let me ask you guys this: what happens to his productivity? It's not okay, Marz. You just told me that he's playing like 40 minutes a game. What do you think that's going to turn into when we get to January? You think that's going to be like 30 minutes?
No, I think he'll come down to his average around 35.
Okay, so 35 minutes. So what are we looking at in 35 minutes? I'm looking at like what? Because he's 26, 27 a game at around that. So are we looking at that? Are we looking at 27? Are we looking at 29?
But you know this isn't sustainable.
If I had to guess, I'd say he'd be probably like 28 a game this year.
What lead? So real quick, Bron, what leads the league in scoring today?
Whatever Luka averages.
So
whatever Luka's averaging is great.
That's fair.
Whatever Luka's averaging is great.
So if Luka is averaging 30 a game, that's what's leading the league in scoring.
Luka will most likely lead the league in scoring this year.
All right.
Wait, OJ, are you trying to say that Devin Booker could lead the league in scoring?
If we were talking about a guy that's averaging 32 a game, and not only averaging 32 a game, I don't think that's gonna drop significantly.
So you're thinking because of the team's makeup, he's going to be asked to score more, and he'll be able to keep those at least the points per game up to 32 and maybe lead the league in scoring. Is that
I'm not going as far as 32, but I think that
31.
I think he's going to be right around that at the top of the league in scoring. I think that I think he's looking at like 30. Yeah, south of 30. Like I
think it'll be like 27, 28. I think he'll be around that realm. But not
28 ain't leading the league. So I mean,
no, he's not leading the league.
I think he'll be right there though. I do think he'll be right there.
I don't even know if he'll be right there. To be honest with you, not in today's league.
Here's the thing though, Lo, because I'm looking.
I think there might be 2, maybe 3 guys that average 30+ points.
30+, I agree.
Well, the thing I'm thinking about with Phoenix is how much in terms of perimeter scoring. I mean, they got a lot of guys that are coming off the bench that look good. Shaman looks good, right? Their rotation guys look good. But with that being said, the meat and potatoes of their offense is going to be Devin Booker. They don't really go to Ayton nearly as much as they should. You've already made it clear that Chris Paul is over. So that 17, 18, and 9, that's over with Chris Paul, according to you.
Yeah, they got Chris Paul and Ayton, a has-been and a never was.
So with that,
you look like you was out there running point guard for that team. But I ain't gonna
hey, if I was out there, I'm telling you, we
up, fade away.
We wouldn't get no buckets.
Well, Chris Paul is close to getting no buckets. He's real close.
Nah,
but getting to that point, boy.
What I have to disagree with you, Marz. I'm not sure about what Devin Booker averaged last year without Chris Paul, but I don't think he was a guy putting up 29 or 30 points a game. I know he was playing well, and what the Suns do, they like playing off of each other. They don't like just having the ball in one guy's hands and having him make it. I mean, they do that with Chris Paul and Devin Booker, but I mean, the scoring output is not just coming from one guy. They like spreading the ball around and distributing it around everybody. So I don't see how Devin Booker.
So who's making up Chris Paul's production? That's basically what we had, because Chris Paul is only made 9 field goals so far this year. 9.
Well, yeah, and I feel you. I think Chris
more
Paul,
field goals than we do.
Well, wait a minute though, Lo. I mean, how much has he played? Number one,
he's played 33 minutes,
right? And how much is Chris Paul responsible in terms of score? Because we knew that it was going to be a dip this season. There was no way.
He's shooting Russell Westbrook from 3 right now. 9%.
Right, I understand that part, but there was no way you expected Chris Paul to sustain like what he did 2 years ago. I didn't think that.
He could get close to last year, and he got 2 years just last year.
Last year was 14 a game.
If I cut you off, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Nah, you good. Look, to answer your question, I mean, even though CP3 is not putting the shots up, I mean, last year I only think he only like averaged 11 or 12 points, I believe.
15.
So Chris, 15, that's fine, but he could find the points to be replaced by other people with his playmaking. Like he's a guy. He's still good at that. He's still good at finding guys.
He's not gonna be able to play make if everybody know he can't get past him.
That's the other thing.
That's not playmaking by Dub's definition. He just means passing the ball to guys.
Passing the ball to guys. He's still gonna be able to pass the ball.
No, but he's still gotta be able to get past the people for the defense to adjust to get them to
operating a pick and roll. He could just
so he can't get by nobody anymore.
Like, have y'all seen him play?
I watched him play. He ain't that bad. He's not that bad.
Ooh, I don't know, boy. He
could take a smaller playmaking role, just finding guys open. He won't have to.
No, but what I'm saying is, if everything is slowly regressing, even the playmaking, the points have to be picked up by somebody. That's what I'm saying. If you're saying, I mean, maybe Ayton. I don't know.
They could find replaced by people. I think so.
Yo, Chris Paul he like me out there, boy.
All right, y'all. I got a couple more players for you guys. Next player I got is none other than De'Aaron Fox, who's averaging 31 points, 5 assists, and 7 rebounds.
No.
7 assists and 5 rebounds, actually. Go ahead, Marz.
It's unfortunate because I'm a huge fan of De'Aaron Fox. I was ready to start pushing some De'Aaron Fox agendas, but the agenda is not going to age very well because the player I was going to compare him to is now taking another jump, so that's not going to work. But I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to sustain.
No. Who you going to compare to? I know who he was going to compare him to.
It was Ja Morant.
And Low. Let's make sure. And Low, hold on for a second.
I thought they were in the same tier. I still think they do.
I do too, Marz. Hey, Low, don't act like this wasn't a conversation a year ago. Don't make this like this wasn't a conversation. Yes, this was a conversation before the season started last year. Do not act like. And not only was it a conversation before last season started. Every time Ja went up against De'Aaron Fox, De'Aaron Fox won. 2, he outplayed him every time going into last season. So don't make it sound like this is just a wash now. It is a wash. They have. I think.
Yeah, if Ja was playing at last year's level, because I was saying last season, I still think De'Aaron Fox, especially if you look after that Sabonis trade, I still think he's on that level of Ja Morant. But Ja Morant just seemed to elevate this.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he has elevated himself. That's why I'm not pushing. But Low, you making it sound like why are we even having this conversation? Like you completely forget.
It's just a jump that Ja Morant took last year. He took a crazy leap last year. He won Most Improved last year. Like he did that for a reason. So like he took such a leap that like he's now entering the top 10, top 15 conversation.
That's not what we're saying. What we were saying.
L host. Let's get to the super chats and the all-time draft. Let's go.
Yeah, come on, Ron.
Come on, L host.
I'm Ron like that.
He's put the L host in the chat, man.
Nah. You gotta get it off. You was talking about Ja Morant. Put
the L host in the chat.
Yo, don't do him like that.
As long as you put host in the chat, I don't care if you put Dub or Errol in front of it. Just put host in the chat.
Check out this.
There it is.
Y'all nasty, yo.
All right, y'all. We're going to get around to these super chats. Here we go. None other than my man Loaded. He said, what do you guys think happens if you drop 2018 Bron in the 2007 finals?
I think they could win.
They win a game.
I don't think they get swept. No, they don't get swept.
They go 6 games.
They still lose.
I still think they lose to San Antonio, but they don't get swept. No, James is a different player, completely different.
They go 6.
Dub versus World. I wonder who that is. He said they destroy nothing. Where's Ticket at?
Oh man, I seen you talk about me in the Kareem agenda. That was a long time ago.
The Boss 5 said, when you guys evaluate how great a scorer is it based on bag/versatility or straight up production?
Everything.
Yes.
I just weigh your ability to put the ball in the basket and then heavily weigh how that translates to the playoffs.
Oh yeah, playoffs too. Yeah, people
like I value scoring in the playoffs. Like it's like 75-25 for me.
Yeah, I agree with Marz on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think everybody should look at all of those things.
Yeah, it should be
right? Like if people are equal, but one's more versatile, you give it to the one that's more versatile. But if there's a difference, then you got to weigh all the factors.
Absolutely.
I look at talent
and
more.
Playoffs. Not a lot of people look at playoffs.
Yes, you got to look at playoffs.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I look at talent more, but they do have to have a level of production. Like I can't call Jamal Crawford like one of the top 10 scorers ever, even though he has a nice skill set. Like you got to be able to produce at a high level too.
Hey, y'all know me. I don't care about your bag. I care about what you're producing. I don't care just about what it looks like. I care about what you're producing, and I care about what you're producing when it matters the most.
Yeah. You don't like the hezzy tween spin?
I like the
hezzy tween.
I like the hezzy tween, but what I care about when you got the hezzy tween, are you making that in the fourth quarter? Are you turning the basketball over trying to get to that
30 a game over 10 point a game hezzy tween?
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. New World Shalik. He said, I rock with every single person in here, especially Low.
Hey,
but even though I don't agree with this person's takes,
wow,
he is hands down the most entertaining person in here, and that is Ticket. He carries this show.
We followed up with an applause.
We writing all the songs for Low. Low, the lead singer. We in the background.
Low, Lionel Richie. We just the Commodores.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
You might not get that reference because you didn't.
Yeah, I'm way too young to understand that reference.
Oh, dang, I ain't that young. Jesus, Morris.
I have no idea. I know
you're not in the States either.
Yeah, I'll use that. So.
Yeah, use that. Yeah, use the States. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
He, John, we Ringo. How about that?
Oh, I know those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I am not Ringo. Hell no.
Hell no.
All right, y'all. Giovanni BN. He said, greatest WWE wrestler. Mine is Stone Cold Ticket. That's fire.
I'm a Jake the Snake guy myself. So
to be the man, you gotta beat the man.
The Rock. Even though they did him dirty in Black Adam.
I've never watched WWE.
I gotta watch that show, Low.
Oh my gosh.
He's from England. He's from England.
How have you never watched that?
My favorite.
I've never had an interest. I used to play SmackDown versus Raw.
See, Dog. See, Dog. He plays for that.
Like, come on, bro. He didn't watch it over here. It's big in the States, not over there. We gotta give him his cup of tea. You feel me?
Oh,
great.
and biscuits too. Don't leave those out.
Oh man.
All right, y'all. Kendrick's
They're called
Squad. He said nobody is the GOAT of any sport or at a position.
Usain Bolt's the GOAT of sprinting.
What do you right?
Okay.
Thanks
Wrong. Next super chat.
Yeah,
I suppose.
Michael Phelps is the GOAT
of swimming, right?
A retro Anand said, Is Kareem even the best center of all time?
I say yes. I say yes.
I think he's the third best center of all time.
Yeah.
You think he's the third?
I think Shaq and Hakeem are better than.
Yeah, that's where Dub got his takes from.
I felt like this before.
Like I think you guys are saying
I have them higher on my GOAT list, by the way. I
right?
have Kareem higher on my GOAT.
Not overall. Yeah. Okay.
Longevity, Kareem takes it. That's why he's number 2 on my GOAT list.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, they're two different.
Okay,
yeah,
I think
average out their.
Oh, okay. I think Hakeem is better. Like
he thinks that those guys are better players, but he thinks Olajuwon and Shaq are better players.
I think Hakeem is. I agree. I think Hakeem is a better player than Kareem.
Which makes me nuts. I can't handle that.
I can tell. I can tell you can.
Oh my God!
Let's not go down that road. Let's not.
Oh my God!
Cool. I ain't never seen you that angry a day in my life. We've been doing this show for a year together.
Let's be clear. I don't care enough about you guys to get angry, but I get frustrated.
And Tone doesn't curse. Just so you guys know, Tone does not curse.
He will.
All right, y'all. Web Slinger with the super chat. He said, "OG Wildin saying leading the league in stats automatically makes you better. By that logic, Andre Drummond was a better defender than Ben Wallace."
Then a defender.
How does that make him a
rebounder?
Maybe a better rebounder.
Right. A better rebounder. Yeah. Yes.
You don't believe that, OG?
You think Andre Drummond was a better rebounder than Ben Wallace?
No. Don't do that.
Just so you guys know, when Andre Drummond was in Detroit, he was on pace. Had he stayed in Detroit, he was on pace to join the 20,000 point, 20,000 rebound club. I just want to put that on you guys' mind.
It's because his team kept missing shots, and he was on
my team misses shots. My job is to rebound the basketball. I am a better rebounder than you. Period.
OG, you don't believe that. I don't think you believe
Marz,
that.
Thanksgiving is October 8th in Canada. So
you don't believe in empty stats, Chilltown?
We've passed October 8th, haven't we?
Yeah, we already.
It was definitely empty stats from Andre Drummond, but I guess.
Yeah, they was in the play. They made the playoffs the years that he was in Detroit.
What, 2 years?
They still made the playoffs those years he was rebounding. Did they not?
I mean, one of them, Blake Griffin was that guy, but yeah.
Blake Griffin was over, Marz. Don't do that.
2019 Blake Griffin.
2019 Blake Griffin was
first year.
2019 Blake Griffin. That was probably the best he's ever been.
2019 Blake Griffin was 25, 5, and 7.
And the next season, if I'm not mistaken, season, did he not fall off a cliff?
And the next season, the Pistons didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, and the next season, the Pistons are trash.
Right.
Yo, wait, can we get that super chat back up? Get it back up.
I got you. I was waiting for y'all to wrap that up. My man Leavin Ali dropped a super chat. He said, side topic, but Lowe was right last week about Westbrook being guarded by a big. Checkmate, OG and Ticket.
I did agree when you said that. I did say it would be similar to a Draymond Green, Andre Roberson situation.
Hey, man.
Shame on the Lakers for not taking advantage of that.
Tone, that bottle isn't doing anything for your headache. So knock it off. It's not doing anything. Tone.
Oh, it feels good.
It's not doing anything, Tone.
We got more on super chats?
Yes. Jake McKay dropped some euros. He said, Ticket talking nonsense. What's new?
That's pounds.
That's pounds.
Yeah, pounds.
Pounds. Thanks for informing us, Marz.
Thank you, man.
Samuel Moore said, I got $100. Marz, easy landslide.
I got 100 on you, Marz.
I'm barely gonna get any words. Then.
Yeah. I'll take that. I'll take that.
Somebody needs a.
This is where the L hosts come in.
Ticket
win. Make sure that you monitor.
You gotta have a good moderator.
We gotta have a. This is where the L host comes in. You as a moderator, you gotta make sure that this dude gotta make his point, and this dude gotta make his point. Don't talk over me. I'm not gonna talk over you. Don't yell at me, and I'm not gonna yell at you. L host, focus, man.
Oh my God!
Focus.
Why y'all doing Ron like this? That's crazy.
Hey, y'all can't be mad at me if Ticket up here cooking. Hey, the chat saying let Ticket cook. I gotta let Ticket cook.
Yep.
Adrian Shake said, love this channel. Sick of ownership of my team. The Reinsdorfs are horrendous. Marz knows about the Super League fans Marz knows about the Super League fans can affect sponsors and ownership. Big up.
Chicago's trash.
He's a Bulls fan.
Yeah, I'm about to say Chicago's trash. That doesn't matter. They thought DeMar DeRozan was going to be the face of their franchise. I don't know.
Why are you hating on
betting on DeMar DeRozan you're going to lose.
Why are you hating on DeMar? DeMar's nice, man.
No, but betting on him to be the face of the franchise.
Yeah, you bet on DeMar, you're going to lose one.
Yeah, you're going to lose. That's a crazy bet.
Every single time.
They were decimated by injuries last year, and he was holding them together with glue and tape. And there was a point, and we was talking about him in the league MVP talk. That was going on. You weren't, and you were in the minority because that was going on.
He made
that was a legit. That was a legit conversation last year.
It should
legit conversation. Yes, it should have been.
He was nowhere near close to Jokic and Giannis and Embiid. Not even close.
He's not even that level of player. He's just not.
Even if he wasn't that level of player, did he not have, I believe, a stretch only comparable to Wilt Chamberlain where he averaged 35 a game and they were winning? Did he not do that?
The only reason it was comparable to
Jokic, Giannis, and Embiid were
50% field goal percentage.
That's
the other thing. Just because he was clear,
it was a Thaddeus Young statistic. That's what it was. It was a stat
Young.
It was a stat they made to put him in a conversation with an all-time.
It's a meme. It's a meme, OG. It's a meme. It's a meme, OG.
Nice.
It's an ESPN stat. That's another way. It's a very unique stat that he was leading in that made him in a conversation with Wilt. But the other players are averaging. They had stretches. They were averaging 30 plus, 12 plus rebounds on better defense, better facilitating as well. They were just better players.
And with that being said, he still was holding that team together with Gould and Tatum, and he's the sole reason why they made the playoffs last year. The sole reason.
That's great. I mean, that's not really saying much, but
it's saying a lot because the Eastern Conference was a nightmare last year.
Yeah, teams got hurt.
Including his team.
Yeah.
Okay, ahead, Ron. I'm sorry.
All right, y'all. Web Slinger dropped another super chat. He said, "This is the greatest episode of PC since Shaq said Kawhi isn't top 10. Ticket and Dub sound like a Modern Warfare 2 lobby."
He was coming at Marz. I couldn't let that slide. Dubinaires from Marz on top.
Facts.
Pause.
Dorian Clayton said Marz versus Ticket for the PC Intercontinental Championship.
Oh my god!
After the villain promo Ticket just did, gotta happen. Hey, if y'all want it,
we need to cut promos for that one-on-one matchup on Thanksgiving. We got
Marz,
like old school WWE promos too.
Marz has to officially accept the challenge though, so where the battle is pending versus that.
The British Bulldog versus I don't know who it's going to be.
Santino Marella.
Ooh.
Oh, you don't know that?
Who else? Santino Marella.
It's my generation. If you're young, you know the vibes.
I have no idea who that is.
I guess I'm not young or old. I have no clue what's going on.
H2 Mass with the super chat. He said, "Fluent.
Yeah.
What socks did Kareem wear
Your mama's.
Game 9?
Oh my god!
What socks did James wear in Game 4 of the 2012 NBA Finals? How about that?
Yep.
Probably some white ones.
He took them right after he produced you. Next.
These are my favorite super chats.
Jake McKay with not euros but pounds. He said Ticket's updated record 0-153.
Yo, all right.
Did you mean Santino Morelli? Is that who you meant?
Morella. Do you know who I'm talking about?
You just can't pronounce their names. All right, next.
MC Robinson with the super chat. He said, "We got OGs versus Gen Z / modern basketball talk. I'm leaning more towards the OGs."
I thought we had a good relationship.
You should be leaning towards what's right. That's what you should be leaning towards.
Tyson Thomas said, "Fluent said studying is not the same as actual practice. That applies to playing basketball, not debating. L argument."
Incorrect. Wrong again.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't understand your analogy as well. I'm not gonna hold you.
I know. It was over your head.
It wasn't. It didn't make sense.
I understand. I understand.
I understood what he was trying to do.
I understand what he's saying. I understand.
I was like, I play basketball.
Dominique Thompson chimed in. He said Ticket did all that because he was looking for a cop-out, so he didn't have to talk about the Lakers and admit that roster sucks.
I agree with that.
That roster does suck.
That roster sucks.
We shouldn't even be talking.
There was no
talking about them.
There was no debate. Tone, did we even have a debate about the way the roster was constructed?
We
already said that.
Fluent and Chill last week. We had this guy he's the senior vice president of analytics for Fox Sports. He was on our show, and he was like, "If you want people to watch your show, talk about LeBron." And we're like, "But the Lakers stink." He goes, "It doesn't matter.
They don't care. They don't care. They suck, but still talk about them."
Destin Thorne dropped a super chat. He said, "If you weren't there to appreciate their greatness, don't talk down. Stats and highlights don't do it justice. Speak on who you saw."
That's dumb.
I don't watch highlights of players.
Partially correct.
Well, not only watching highlights, Marz, I can't do that. I wasn't around when Chamberlain was playing, but damn, I got to talk about him. I wasn't around when Bill Russell was playing.
Who's that?
The dude that you and me was in class talking about, Wilt Chamberlain, the dude that played in the NBA from 59 to 74. Yes, you have, Tom. We had a conversation about him years ago.
Yeah, he was on that mountain with Zeus. And
Wilton Felton Spencer. Yes, Wilton Felton Chamberlain. That's his name. Yep. He did exist, Tom.
What was his other name when he was playing in high school? When he was playing pro ball?
Thanos.
Tone doesn't believe that Wilt Chamberlain actually existed.
Fake.
He think it's a fake dude.
I don't really talk
credit to him.
I don't.
All
really
right,
talk
so
about
Saucy
Will
D
Bill.
dropped the super chat. He said, "Who was the best player after week 1?"
Jayson Tatum
Morant or Tatum. John Morant or Tatum.
John Morant.
I think it was Jayson Tatum.
I think it was Jayson Tatum.
Donovan Mitchell.
How about that? In the West, John Morant, East Tatum.
I think Luka was
Take
better,
that.
bro. But he only played 2 games.
You're lying to yourself, Marz.
Oh no,
think
Ben
Luka was better than
Mathurin.
Joe.
Ben
George
I can't say
Martin.
his name.
That was
Ben Mathurin. I'll tell you what,
Mathurin.
we're gonna have a conversation about him being Rook of the Year. I don't know if he'd be able to sustain it, but he looked good, dog. He does.
No, he does.
He
They
does
have
look
been leaving
good.
him. They have been leaving him open a lot, but
Yeah.
they're starting to close in. So I want to see how he handles that pressure. You feel me?
Well, they're gonna do that with any Rook. You knew, so we got to see what you got. So of course they're gonna do that with him.
Who's George Marcus, Dub?
I don't know George Marcus.
Okay, next.
That was Wilt Chamberlain's alias, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Oh, I don't talk about Will Bill. I don't like watching.
I do my research.
I can't watch a
I get more and more respect for Marz and Low every week. I get more and more.
Fluent. I don't talk about.
What about
Will
that?
I have no respect for you, Dub.
No, me neither. I don't talk. I'm gonna tell you something that you should respect. I don't talk about Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, because I'm not gonna lie. I can't watch a 60s game, bro.
Okay, fair enough.
What?
Me and Dub.
He thinks it's terrible.
All those people that think we hate each other.
Low, how can you sit here and watch a full game of the 60s game, bro? How can you?
I enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie.
I watch it in some cases to laugh, but also just to understand like how
To
things
laugh.
change.
I
Also to
enjoy it,
understand
like,
how
actively
things
enjoy it.
change over the years, though, because I got to understand like how we got here, like to this, like how does today's game exist, and all of it is just like
All I know is 20 years from now, in the year 2042, Kobe Bryant will be removed. He will be in the 2000s. That'll be 40 years. So he's going to be your generation. Dub, your kids, your son, your nephew is going to come to you and he's going to tell you that would have ate Kobe Bryant's lunch. He was playing against plumbers. And you're going to want to choke the life out of him. I promise you that.
No, take it.
That's going to happen.
Take it further. Go 40 years. Go 40 years when they're telling them LeBron was playing against podcasters. He was nothing. He couldn't.
I'm telling you. Shaq and Kobe Bryant. At that time, Shaq and Kobe Bryant were playing against plumbers and
Y'all gonna spark up another debate.
And I'm telling you, you're gonna have a nephew that's gonna come to you and tell you that this 6'8" guy.
I do think evolution isn't moving at as much of a fast pace as it was back then. Like
I don't think so.
They're not gonna evolve to that level where we're gonna say Kobe was trash.
America won't be
not
there.
in the next 20 years, in my opinion.
Not 20, but 40.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gonna get to that point.
Watch.
Oh yeah, my grandkids, if they're not telling me that like guys like Kobe were trash, I think they're just doing it wrong. Like I think that's what you have to do.
They're doing it wrong. No, that's
I think.
No.
In my opinion, if you're not trolling the older generations, you're doing it wrong. I think. That's what you have to do.
There's the truth.
Like if you're not saying Jerry West couldn't dribble with his left hands and he was trash, you're doing.
That's a fact. That's
You
a
have
fact.
to do that.
That's not a fact though. But
Who couldn't dribble with his left?
Jerry
Jerry West.
West. Out of all people to
you have
bring
to
up,
do
I can't
that.
believe you brought up
Can
Jerry
you,
West.
can you imagine a dude that couldn't dribble with his left hand and average 35 a game in the playoffs?
No, I think Jerry West was very good because I watched Jerry West. I think he was very good. I just
You know,
you have to disrespect the older areas.
You know what makes me laugh though? You know what makes me laugh? See, that's where learning from past generations. I didn't know this. I learned it from an older guy. You don't understand. Why did Jerry West? Why did Bob Cousy not dribble with their left? One, they didn't want them to. Two, because when they were in school, if you did anything with your left hand, they'd slap you with a ruler because that was the devil's work. You have to understand that context too. It wasn't allowed. It wasn't allowed.
I understand it. It's still bad though.
It's still funny to make fun of them. It's still funny to make fun of them.
Yeah, make fun of them. That's fine.
And chill to help you understand. I seen a video and somebody tracked how many dribbles from the right hand compared to the left, and it was dominantly the right hand.
It was like 90%.
Of course it was because of what I just mentioned. You have to understand.
I understand. It's still bad.
Yeah, we can understand, and then when we're talking like seriously, like we can.
Clyde Drexler is a nasty one.
I can say the same thing about Clyde Drexler. The only time the ball touches his left hand, the only time the ball touches his left hand to go back to the right hand. That's the only time the ball touches his left hand.
I'm like, boy, he could.
That's not true. I showed examples of him.
But with that being said, Clyde did have a left hand, and Clyde was buckets, and he would be buckets today. So
no, but when I see Clyde, I'm like, boy, this is. If this ain't the definition of just running to the rim going right, I don't know what is.
I mean, Zion runs to the ring going left right now,
and
that's all he does.
And he has no right hand. He has no right hand. That's pretty
all
sad.
he does.
It's pretty sad actually. and his defense fell off. It's tough.
Vonnie came with the super chat. He said Tyrese Halliburton, most improved player lock, 24. 4 rebounds and 10 assists.
Nope. I think that honor is going to go to Colin Sexton and the reason why is because Marz and I just had this conversation. Utah is going to be historically bad, and they're going to give the ball to Colin Sexton, and he's going to run wild.
It's crazy how he refuses to pass the ball there. Like he just doesn't pass the ball.
I'm not mad at that Tyrese take though. I'm not mad at it.
I like Tyrese Halliburton's game. They're making the Pacers fun to watch.
Yeah, I like it.
NJ Dre 1804 said there's a ticket in every barbershop across America. Loud, wrong, and oddly entertaining. He got to relax on Marz. I'm a huge fan. Keep it up, y'all. Appreciate you, NJ. Devon Williams said Aaron Donald and JB are leaving Donda. JB is in Jaylen Brown.
Good. Because I told those guys on PC Gridiron that was a crazy move. You're going with a psycho, and they all laughed. Oh, he's so smart. He's a billionaire. No, dude. He's not that dude no more.
Before he did all these actions, I didn't.
Yeah, well, but I told you that's what's coming. I said he's crazy, and you said, no, he'll be fine. Yeah. Is he fine? Is he fine?
He's wild.
Yeah, another L, Dub. Another L.
Another L.
Yo,
hey, chat. Hilarious. Put the L's in the chat for Dub. Put the L's Dub in the chat.
God, that is hilarious. You got it.
Yeah. Y'all tune in to PC Gridiron every Wednesday night and Monday nights as well to get more Fluent predictions. Drink more water with the super chat. He said, didn't Ticket say Westbrook is still in his prime?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
He was wrong. He was incorrect.
I can't believe I had to debate that.
Cap Nemo dropped a super chat. He said, let Ticket cook. I be trying to.
In that microwave, he be cooking.
He's on the court. He's on the court cooking right now.
Oh, so Ticket got an easy bake oven? That's what you trying to say, Lo?
Easy bake, man.
I know Valanciunas better get off that long ball line. I better not see him shoot another one of those.
He gonna shoot about.
What's the score right now?
New Orleans +7.
New Orleans is a serious team
with no Ingram or Zion.
Yeah.
They were my upset for the day. Thank God.
Traveling Trav dropped a super chat. He said, how do y'all feel about the Wizards second round?
Playing,
yeah.
Sure.
Nah, you guys sleeping on them, bro.
Here we go. See?
I know.
Here we go.
OG, I'm not gonna hold you. You said that thing about Washington, but without considering the fact that they did get hurt last year, which is why they fell off that cliff. Like they were playing really well last year. We can't
second round though.
Nah, not second round. First round.
Okay.
First round.
Yeah, they can make it through the play-in maybe and lose in the first round. But they'll be in the play-in.
I'll give you that.
Playing.
Z-Dub with the super chat. He said, can we agree Ben Simmons wouldn't change the sweep last season?
No, he wouldn't.
No. Jesus.
Of course not.
You already know how I feel about Brooklyn. You already know where I'm at with the Brooklyn Nets.
Get them off your damn TV.
I'm out.
Big Meats dropped the super chat. He said, is Danny Ainge going to blow up this Jazz squad?
He just blew the squad up to get this squad.
No, Conley and
blow it up again.
Conley and Clarkson are gone. They're 100.
They're gone. Clarkson's about to be out of here. Right. Clarkson is playing himself into a New Jersey as we speak.
Absolutely. He just blew the squad up. He gonna blow the squad up again?
Yes, he gonna blow it up again.
They already have 3 more wins than they were meant to have the whole year.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Did anyone else see Mike Conley get destroyed in the first game?
Mike Conley's it's over for him, boy.
That dude touched earth.
That's who New Orleans is missing, though. And I don't mean Mike Conley specifically. I don't mean Mike Conley. I don't mean Mike Conley specifically, but I mean a Mike Conley type.
Yeah, veteran point guard, right?
That's who New Orleans is missing.
Yep.
I was about to say.
No, I don't mean that, Lo. Relax. Okay, take it easy.
It's Jay Morv chimed in. He said, Marz, Thanksgiving is November 24th. I better see you here absolutely destroying Ticket. Someone needs to put him in his place. Martian activity.
Wow.
We do it on here on the regular. What are you talking about? Somebody need to put him in his place. We do it on the regular over here. Marz is just going to be adding to it. It's not like it's a situation where Marz is discovering something. He's just going to add to it. We do it on the regular over here.
I'll be making everybody on the panel more fluent. I don't know what you guys talking about.
I want to say all that. But...
Y'all beware of the Thanksgiving throwdown. We may get Marz and Dub on there versus somebody. Might be Marz versus Ticket. Might be Dub versus Fluent. Might be Low versus who knows. You guys have to
don't do Low because I'm definitely winning every one I go up against.
Low versus Chill. You got it, Jay. Hear that? He challenged you, Jay.
Low don't want it with me. He think he do, but he don't.
Please stop. Please stop.
Come on with it, Low.
I had an NBA player tell me you can't win one-on-one against Chill, yo.
Come on with it.
I'm not gonna lie, Low had you on a skillet, and he ain't looked back when you brought up that leading the rebounds argument. I'm gonna just let you know that right now.
So if that's
he had
true,
you on a skillet.
And if that's true, you're not gonna win all of them. I ain't gonna lose all of them neither.
Oh, that's a good way to
look at
it.
No, I won't. Me and you already went back and forth, Flo, and I cooked you a number of different times. Just like you got me. Just like you got me. I cooked you too. So give me a break. So bring it. If you want it, you know me. I do not back down. You want it, come get it.
I also got y'all got you and Ticket on record with the whole laughing at me last week, and y'all got.
It was at this moment that he.
Well, here's the thing, though, Lo. Everybody, all of us, like including me, I picked the Lakers because I thought it was the champagne and caviar. I thought that was going to end up being the detriment to the Warriors. I did not know that the damn Lakers were going to shoot almost 53s. Give me a break. I did not know that.
No, it's about the whole Jokic defending Westbrook. That's what I'm saying. And they literally put Zubac and Nurkic on Westbrook. So no.
Cami Khan said, when you do the greatest player, do you judge them based on accolades, peak, or individual talent? Because all three of those have a different GOAT.
You just use all of them.
Find all of them. That's how you make your.
I don't include accolades, but besides,
I don't include that.
I don't understand why it's so difficult to understand.
Why you don't use accolades.
I don't.
Please no. Listen, this is not.
It's not.
Yeah, listen.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because Marz the kids. Yeah, because
okay.
But yeah, I don't understand why y'all don't just like to the people out there who watching. Use everything. I don't know why. Like you're not smart enough to use multiple things. Yeah, use everything.
But I think your issue with accolades is you only look at who won. No, you have to look who was in the running. Like Low brought up the way you describe it. Low MVP caliber player. It doesn't have.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
Win the
Marz, stop. Marz, stop. Please stop. He's giving me my credit. Please stop.
I apologize.
All right, moving on. You're done. Lost moment.
I killed the moment.
Kill it again next time. Kill it again.
Wow, you're a hater, dog.
It was a terrible moment. It was a terrible moment to be a part of. No lie.
Y'all are hating.
Leaf Diggy said, gentlemen, give me your very first basketball memory of the game.
How many super chats we got?
Mine is when it'd be a lot. Mine is when Iverson snatched Jordan. I don't know where my love for the game would be.
My uncle talking to me, and I was at a very young age. I was in first grade, and my uncle was talking to me. He had his man standing right next to him, and he was talking to me about how good Walt Frazier was. That was his man. He loved Walt Frazier, and all he talked about was how good Walt Frazier was with the basketball, the defender that he was, and how much he loved Walt Frazier. And he was the one who put the ball in my hand. He introduced me to the game.
Yeah, mine is when KD joined Golden State.
No way.
When he did what?
When KD joined Golden State. That's when I became a fan of the Warriors.
That's when you became a fan. So wow, we're gonna age.
I lost so much
OG, man. We're aging ourselves. Mine was and this is why I got so mad at Marz when he said this. Mine was when the first NBA Finals I watched as
1980
in grade school when Magic took the tip and played center.
Damn, that was the first one. Damn.
He didn't take the whole thing.
No. That was not. That's great memory. Yeah, great memory.
Stop.
Coop Shoot said, "Hello again, panel. Debonair's from Marz. Salute. Kings fan here. What are y'all thinking about my 0-3 team?
I still like them.
You're 2 years away from being 2 years away.
I like your offense. Your defense is really bad, but I like the way your offense looks, and I'm a big fan of De'Aaron Fox.
Me too. I'm a big fan of De'Aaron Fox, and I think him and Sabonis, this thing should get better this year since they have the entire season to That should get better. Defensively, I'm good on Sacramento.
And Keegan Murray was my rookie of the year pick for this year, and he's looked very good in the 2 games.
The Kings might be the best team I've ever seen lose games.
Lo, you the best looking chick of the ugly chicks. What the hell is that?
That's what it is.
He's saying they're the best. They're the best non-playoff team in the league.
Yeah, that's what they are.
They're the best bad team. They're the best
looking chick. All the ugly chicks.
No offense, my guy, but like the Kings just have a history of just having good talent but not doing anything with it. So I just got to see it, believe it. You feel me? They had DeMarcus Cousins. They had a ton of talent.
You did pretty good when you had Chris Webber.
Yeah, the defense on this team.
That was like Fluent. That was like 20 years ago, bro. Let's not do that. That was 20 years ago.
I'm sorry you weren't born yet. That's not my fault. It's not my fault.
I was born. How old are you? How do you know?
99. I was
22, bro. Dub the baby.
Y'all are so young.
Yeah.
As you were saying, Ron. What was you saying, Ron?
Oh my God.
I was saying Devon Williams dropped a super chat. He said JB and JT the best duo in the league.
No.
Z-Dub dropped another super chat. He said, Dub, you still need my IG for open gym. I'm ducking no smoke. For those of you who don't know, we have a new show on the Players Choice Network on Fridays, featuring none other than Dub and Marz. It's open gym, and it's available for all of you guys who be in the chat talking that big talk to come in and debate yourself against, well, other heavyweights. Let's see what you guys got. Go join the show.
I'm about to drop my IG in the chat, so give me a follow or reach out to me. I'll definitely set that up, bro.
Yeah. It's about that time.
Dropped a super chat. He said low nose basketball plus OG plus lick it LV.
I think he meant ticket.
Brown Mamba said media ranks Kobe lower every year in an all-time rank.
I saw Kobe below Oscar Robertson on ESPN's list.
No, that's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Last super chat I'm going to read for the night. Saucy D said Paulo or Ben Mathurin. That's how you guys say his name? Ben Mathurin. Mathurin so far.
Oh,
Paulo.
Yeah, I'll go with Paulo.
It's still Paulo.
Yeah.
Paulo Banchero.
Yeah. He looks to me like a more athletic version of Antoine Walker. That's what he looked to me like.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like Antoine Walker.
All right, y'all. Appreciate for tapping in to the panel this week. We'll be here at the same time next week. On the way out, fellas, what we got to say?
Peace.
L host for not getting to the all-time draft. You're gonna get killed in the chat.
Hey,
take it right.
L host, put him in the chat. Yo, put it in the chat. L host.
We can't do an all-time draft without
I'm doing it, Dub. Take it light. But take it.
No, don't take nothing.
Rapper Xavier Top Floor, the rapper Xavier Top Floor. Check him out on Spotify. He'll be on Fluent and Chill this Thursday, talking about why the Lakers should trade everybody.
Next week, we will start with an all-time draft. I got you guys. We out.
Take it light, but take it.
Especially Dub.
Take it, Dub.
That's not ridiculous.